we're back. And we're gonna jump right into it with community development. Cal?
Good morning. So Luke Viscusi has a briefing in for posting a position to the Historic Preservation Commission. And there's one application. I think there's several openings, but we've received one application, so just requesting the interview, and staff is recommending approval of the appointment.
Approval of the appointment, or?
Or, you know,
Interview and then-
to interview
Yeah.
and, yeah.
And they're like,
But,
what you
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Staff is good with the
Staffing?
application, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Andrew sounds great. So, interviews?
Interview.
Okay.
And that's all I have. I will be seeing you guys this afternoon.
Exhausting. No, that one's gonna be exhausting. It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
It'll be a new adventure.
All right.
You and I have very different definitions of fun.
Oh, and there's Luke.
I
So I don't
know.
know if you wanted to add anything, Luke.
No, thank you, Cap.
Yep.
That was all.
Okay.
But to confirm, yes, they were enthusiastic and I was enthusiastic about the applicant.
Good. That's always good. Good to see you too.
You as well.
All right,
Right?
that's it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good. How's things?
Okay.
There we go.
Perfect timing, we were just talking about the GD action. Glad you showed up.
All right, so we got a couple things. The first thing is the Lewis County prisoner housing contract. So we got a letter where they're increasing their daily bed rate. And that's just emergency
That's
use.
our emergencies.
Yeah.
I'm supportive.
emergencies.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, just say no.
Yeah.
You can't raise
Do you-
your rates, no, sorry.
Do you sign this one, or, I know there's some
Has to be
confusion about the
put-
last
Has to be
one.
put on the action agenda,
Yeah,
and then we all,
the board will.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then our second one was, so we have two walk-in coolers in the kitchen, and we've been having issues with one of them for the past, I don't know, what, year or so probably? Yeah, and it was down for about a month, this past year, so,
It's time, huh?
yeah, it's,
Okay.
I guess it's the 1985
Well,
version
if he could keep it
cooler
running, he
units.
would. If he can't, he can't.
It's original, 1985.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
The other one was
I can't
replaced
believe I'm
10
saying
years
that,
ago.
40 years.
can we get it out of, refunds?
So is this the one that fits in the budget request?
this was,
Is that, or is this a different one?
I don't
No, this
think
is
it got-
outside the budget
it's out,
request.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not inside that 26 budget request.
okay.
This just kind of popped up in the middle of our budget request process, so we didn't put it in.
Yeah, we were having issues with it right during that time.
Yeah.
It was down, and
And you're saying, yes, we could do it.
She believes so.
I think so. I'll double check on that to make sure that we do.
Yeah, it doesn't move, it's part of the
Yeah.
fixture, so,
Positive that would-
It's part of the building.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
it's built into that structure.
I'm supportive, but at the request that we have put into REIT.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So we can, once you guys approve it on next action agenda, is
Next
that right?
action agenda is the 25th, I think.
That'll
Okay,
be in order.
Okay.
After that.
fantastic, thank you.
And it's not the whole thing, it's just the unit on top, so the box itself.
$15,000 for the unit.
Oh, I'm glad it's just the unit, not the entire.
maybe it'll last another 40 years like the original.
Well, honestly, I think that you should probably schedule these things out every 10 or 15 years to get
Yeah.
replaced.
Probably should. Don't we do that
When
with
we
other
have money.
things, too?
Yeah.
I realize that,
But if it's on the list saying, hey, this is probably going to need. at
It's
least
on the CFD.
in the
Well,
plan.
after Kelly retires, we'll start talking like that. Right now, I dream of
You
genius
can blame it all
stuff.
on
He just
me.
makes it
Yeah,
all
just
work.
look at him.
Yeah.
when he's gone, it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
what?
Yep.
However, we might want to start doing that
Yeah.
before Kelly retires, because then we'll have a plan already in place, right, Kelly?
Look at that smirk. You
I
guys,
know.
you guys gonna allow him to retire?
Well, I'm not, but you guys
How old's
might.
that other one, the second one?
It's 12,
12 years.
so I'm just gonna have them service that while they do the other one.
Oh, great. I like it.
That was easy.
That's it, yeah,
That was,
that's all we got.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Kelly.
Thanks, Bob.
See, you were a big help.
Kelly's awesome. All right. Sierra. are you?
Well, good morning, Commissioners. Alright. Sierra Stiles on behalf of Patti McLean, Assessor's Office. So, am I okay to proceed?
Yeah.
Okay. We are requesting a total of 5 vehicles in the Assessor's fleet. Currently, we have 4. A quick update on our staffing and resources. One of our long-term staff members retired at the end of September, and as part of our efforts to ensure we meet statutory deadlines, we decided to recruit an additional field appraiser instead of a sales analyst. That position closed yesterday and will be moving forward into the screening and interview phase soon. We have reviewed our staffing and fieldwork assignments, and we identified a gap in our resources. At the time the 2026 budget was prepared, we did not account for the need for 5 vehicles, as the sales analyst position required minimal field work. Hiring an additional field appraiser will require an additional vehicle to ensure our team has the necessary resources to complete inspections efficiently and on schedule. It is estimated that an additional vehicle will have a budget impact of $10,000. This cost includes lease, fuel, and maintenance. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
So we would add this would be part of the budget discussion that we have coming up soon, correct? Because it's part of the 26 budget.
26 budget,
Yeah.
yes.
Not this year.
Not this year.
But just so you know, so since 2017, we had the big layoffs. 2018, we've hired 50+ employees in the general fund. They're still -1. The department is, from back then, from when we did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna hurt, but I'm gonna mark it down as, well, actually, I'm gonna keep this with it. So if we add this, Jen, if we add this to the fleet, we would have to put the order in now, right? To get it for 26?
What we could do is hang on to one of the vehicles we were going to trade in.
I was gonna ask Kelly to stay for that, but.
Because there's,
Oh,
he
because
seemed
some of
one-
them have lower mileage than,
yeah, some of them have lower miles. So we were going to save supposedly approximately $15,000 by turning over the additional 14 vehicles. So this would really, net out to be 5.
But some of those were replacements, though. We weren't just letting them
Yes.
go.
right.
So, we still have to have one that we need to keep, so it will still be a cost, even if we keep and wash one down.
Yeah.
But,
But it'll be minimal.
yeah, and we don't wanna get in the same habit, that's where the Corsica used to live.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
No more green cars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not
and
enough
we
of
would
pain.
need to add, we would need to add it to their budget, that
Yeah.
10,000, just to clarify.
Yep.
Okay.
and we're way below our expenditure rate in the vehicles.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are for 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the commission wants to wait till the budget time is, but I'm with that too.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
yeah, cool. Anything else?
What about the body? The switching of the body, is there any issue with that with budget, or is, Jen, or is that something that is, we just look at it as within the purview of what there already is?
What kind, which body, car or?
No, the
So-
person, she's switching a
Okay.
job, but the job is already, they're under one FTE, but they're
Yes.
putting under the heading of a different FTE. And I take it that FTE is the one that's still missing, so it's still within your,
Yes, it's still a budgeted position.
it's still a budgeted position, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, we're reorganizing to increase field product inspections to meet our deadlines. And with Ida May retiring, she primarily was tasked with defending our boards, required minimal field work. Now we're shifting that responsibility back to our field appraisers. So they're out in the field more, and then it frees them up a little bit more so they're able to defend their own boards.
Do we have a difference in how much it costs for the other position compared to the position we're hiring for?
So what closed yesterday was trainee appraiser or senior appraiser, so depending on their qualifications. So it could vary. There's 3.
But I meant compared to the specialist that you're not
item
filling.
The sales analyst.
Yeah, sales analyst.
I don't have that in front of me.
No, mind, just share with us later.
I can share with
No
you.
big deal.
Okay,
I don't have an issue with it, I keep the numbers in my head whenever I can.
yeah, I agree.
You guys don't do, you never ask for anything excessive, so appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
okay. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Is Loretta in the lobby?
Mayor,
Nobody's involved.
we have to put him on retainer. I don't know.
Well, we can, do you want to start with support services? We can wait for Loretta?
Can't
Or
wait.
do you want to do Loretta's? Or-
To be honest, I don't remember what Loretta's is.
Loretta's is primitive roads.
He's got a lot.
Yeah, primitive roads, road vacation number
Yeah.
446,
Lovejoy, everything's-
usually rejecting.
Actually, quite a bit. I think
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
wait for her.
Okay, do you want to just go ahead with
Take some of your stuff off?
yours?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So the first one I think should be an easy one. It's a request to fill a vacant position on the Mason County Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. And I think they're one position down in the spender position and they wanted to fill that.
Right, we have one open that is a spender, and then we also need a generator also, so,
Press release ends.
let's see, we already did the press release, I believe. Yeah, we did.
For both?
Not for the generator. No, I thought we advertised for all positions that were open. Yeah. And so this would be,
Which one is Carrie applying for?
on her application, she didn't say which one,
She's
because she is the chair for the North Mason Chamber.
she's a spender.
Spin.
She's also a generator, so she
is?
could go, yeah, she has rentals.
That's,
Yeah.
that's true, that's what she does.
Mhm. And so she would fit either position, but, because if you look down the line, then you see that she's also part of the lodging tax, awards, or North Mason is.
Chamber of Commerce?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd be comfortable having her as a spender and then going out again for a generator.
That would make sense to me, because if she is there, I would assume she's getting paid as the Chamber of Commerce, so we should be specific.
Good. Do we need to interview her? I think all three of us know her,
Yeah, I
right?
don't.
Okay, let's go ahead and put her on the agenda to appoint.
Okay,
Okay. I mean, you guys are comfortable with
and which one was that again?
Carrie?
Carrie Myers.
Yeah,
As an eater.
as a spender.
Oh, same. Eater and feeders, that's how I see those.
A spender.
Okay. All right. And moving on, we will go to the lodging tax request for proposal awards. I think that should be in everyone's packet. We had 2 requests for proposals that were issued in June of this year. One for the Director of Tourism Development for up to $686,229. And one for services that support tourism and our cultural attractions in Mason County for up to $285,000 and a little bit more. Total combined budget is $972,158, and you can see the proposals in the packet that were provided.
And the committee recommended that the Mason County Historical Society receive 25,000, Shelton Mason Chamber of Commerce, the caboose, 26,175.17. North Mason Chamber of Commerce for 45,000, Shelton Mason.
55,000, I believe.
45.
45? Oh,
Yeah.
I see down here it
it
says.
says 55 in the packet, so.
On the
Oh,
proposal, it was 45,000.
Okay.
The service center and then down here,
And
North
then
Mason
the-
Chamber. There's two different lines is what the commissioner's saying, meeting in October, and made the following recommendations, so the other ones
Those were
are
the
not,
ones.
that's not the
Those-
recommendations.
got it.
Those
Gotcha.
were those were
The
the
requests.
Got
requests.
it, sorry.
Yes, and
My
recommendations,
bad.
gotcha.
Yep. And so,
Were you satisfied with,
not really,
do you,
not really,
are
so
you,
what,
are you recommending though, or,
um,
cause it's your committee, you know how I feel about that stuff.
yeah, what I'm comfortable with are the support services. So that would be the Historical Society, the caboose, the hood sport, North Mason Chamber. Those I am comfortable with moving forward on. The reason I'm hesitant on the Leo award, the $686,000 is because we also have something that's coming before us called Mason Lake. And which could be
Dan,
which
Commissioner.
is a,
I never, that's,
could be a welcome center, it's definitely a tourist attraction. So, I would recommend moving forward on the support services and then going back out for further discussion on the NEO, what's it called again? Hold on.
Northwest Event Organizers.
Yeah, that would be a, it is not a generator, what's it called? Tourism development.
so,
But in order for us to do anything with the tourist development, we as a committee can't change the amounts. It would have to go back to the lodging tax.
that's what I was gonna ask, cause I support, this is your seat, I support all that, I like the way you were thinking on that also. I think that's great outside the box thinking there.
Well, absolutely fits every definition.
So now the question comes though that we have to find out before we move forward is, we are allowed to say no, we're allowed to say yes. I don't know, and I think we can, but I don't know if we can subdivide. We need to find out officially whether we can subdivide and okay some, and not the slate.
According to, and I don't have it with me, but
That's all right.
MRSC,
Uh-huh,
who, they're the experts on this. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna have them come in and do a presentation
yeah,
to the lodging tax committee because we have so many new people.
yeah,
So that they understand what is appropriate and what is not. Anyway, have them come in. According to MRSC, I think we can approve the recommendations for the cultural support tourism
Individually.
and cultural attractions. And those are one-year contracts. The committee recommended that they only be a one-year contract because they want to work on different ideas that going forward. So I think that we can divide them. NEO, the Northwest Event Organizers, we do have an opportunity to do like a 3-month extension on her contract. She's already been extended once.
so I'm supportive of, sending it to our attorney and getting permission to subdivide them out, sending back the other one back for their recommendation, and if they come back with a 3-month extension, then that's what they come back with, or if they come back with nothing full, we'll talk about it then. But I'm supportive of that, if bisecting, we got a ways before our meeting anyway, to find out and do the best we can
Their
there.
contracts end December 31st. So
Yeah, I'm not tracking exactly what you're talking about, other than splitting the two. So, I mean, I have no problem with us splitting those and making them separate discussions.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's okay with Tim,
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Okay,
Because that's,
so I'll send it to Tim, get his,
it's one of those weird laws that we have to follow, that we're only allowed, certain things we're not allowed to create and what we want and put it
Right.
in. We just don't want to get challenged, so if Tim's stand behind it, I think we can. I think we can
I think we can too.
but I just want to be sure, we got time.
yeah, yeah.
You can.
I was gonna say, there's a guy that knows
I wasn't sure. but
about it
You
also.
can, you just have to go back out for the one you wanna change.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good though. Yeah.
Okay, got notes. I'll circle back.
Okay,
Okay. And Loretta's in the lobby. You want to pivot back and
oh, sure.
get her back in?
Interesting idea.
Oh, he's like, well, we have Mason Lake, that is definitely a tourist attraction,
That's an interesting idea.
yeah.
Outside the box.
We made a change once and we had to go back because we wanted to give them more money than they asked for.
Yeah, and you can't do that, you can just take their recommendation, or send it back.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Saw the back of your head earlier.
What? I'm sorry.
No, every hair was in place, so
Oh.
it's good.
Early.
I sent you a text message.
It's been like that.
That's how the day starts, not finishes.
I was out of service most of the time I was gone.
All right.
It was
Hey, brother,
wonderful.
come on in.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Did you bring
Whoa, it is a full-on
good.
party today.
Wow.
I think people might like you.
Special.
That's awesome.
I like you guys.
Okay, we'll kick off. Mike's got a couple of items right out of the gate.
Oh, a piece of pears.
Oh, yeah, well, that was that one.
We need to update our permanent road resolution by removing Ellis and Yates roads from the list because they're now chip sealed and taken care of. So that's about 15 miles of gravel roads we've converted in the last 5 years.
So cool.
The next thing up is road vacation number 426. It's a vacation by operational law, so we'd like to set the public hearing with the hearings examiner on January 14th, 2026 already.
I'm good. You guys good?
Yep.
I was just.
Give me designating all these primitive roads.
Where Hannigan is.
Up in Union.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. So you want to vacate this part here?
Yeah, that's what they're requested. It's vacated by operational law. We're just going to go through a process to recognize it.
Everything.
We'd like to do
I
that.
fought real hard to get that, to have it worded that, there's a law that allows us, we're not vacating. There's a law that it automatically is vacated. And there was a big war in North Mason because of that at one point, but we didn't vacate it, the law vacates it, but it comes to us just to say we're not gonna fight it. And he's explaining, it's vacated by law, do you wanna fight it? I don't wanna fight it.
Right. Makes it simple. Well, we're actually working on trying to set it up to where we just vacate the whole plat. And so we don't have to come back to you with each little
Yeah.
piece over time, and it's a lot of effort from our standpoint too, from Tina's time and stuff, and then the hearing examiner and back to you guys again. And so if we could just get it set up to vacate the whole plat, we're working on it.
Yeah, and the other alternative is people can go to an attorney and quiet title.
Yep.
So if they don't want to go through a county process, then they can quiet title through a legal action as well.
Right.
Yep.
That vacation in Allen, I actually got yelled at again. That was 12 years ago when we finally refused to fight it. I got yelled at about like 3 months ago. That's amazing
It's
how
amazing.
they take that so personal, because it was waterfront and everything up there. But it wasn't it's not our monkey, it's not our circus.
It's a tough thing to grasp. I know that Lovejoy, for certain customers, it
Deals with
takes
it.
a lot of time and effort to explain that law. Okay, next up, it's Christmas tree recycling time.
Already.
So,
Already.
yeah, Kevin.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
I was waiting for that.
Wasn't that funny with Leo coming and hit me with Merry Christmas and running out the door?
I didn't actually hit you.
Well,
It just-
drop that on me. I wasn't even aware of it myself yet.
All right, so Mason County residents can recycle their Christmas trees for free from December 26th through January 10th at the following locations. Shelton Transfer Station, 501 West Ells Hill Road, open from 8 to 4:45. Also at the Belfair Drop Box Facility, 1611 Northeast Sand Hill Road in Belfair. It is open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3:15. Curbside customers with Mason County Garbage and Recycling can cut their trees into pieces and place them in their cart for regular pickup. All trees must be tinsel-free, decoration, tinsel, and flocking. Wreaths and garland are not accepted as they contain wire and cannot be recycled.
All right.
You do so good.
I'm getting better. And we got it early this year rather than, we got Christmas tree recycling.
All right. That's a
I put it on my calendar. I was like, hey, we gotta get this going.
I like it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we're on a solid waste roll, so
I
Kevin,
got it.
Richard, you want to talk about
Yeah,
the rejecting of the scale bids?
Yes, nothing wrong with the bids. I mean, they were fine. When we wanted to replace this scale based on, we get it inspected, certified every year. And they're like, this thing's getting it towards the end of its useful life. You've had it for a long time. You ought to really think about replacing it. We came to you and asked if we could do that. Well, they came out because they've got to do some measuring. We have pre-existing foundations that they need to custom make the new scale to fit into. And the guy says, what are you going to do with this scale? Where do you want me to, you going to reuse this scale or are you going to put it somewhere else? I'm like, why would I reuse it? He said, well, it's got like 10 years worth of life on it. And I was like, well, that's 50% of the life. When you get them, that's what they tell you, you got about a 20-year life. He said he got parts readily available. They checked it out. There's nothing wrong with it. So we don't want to replace it.
Dang, I was hoping we were going to get it in North Mason, but your argument is better. I don't want to spend the money if we don't have to.
Yeah, and we thought about that, like, okay, is there a temporary use? Can we put it to good use somewhere else? And the answer was not with spending even more money, so.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a plan for it, so it's like, oh yeah, we could.
Well, there may be something that accounts for more money that I'll bring up here at the end, so remind me about that. I hadn't thought about it for you, for solid waste. Go ahead.
All right.
So that's what we are requesting the board, if you guys approve the rejection of all bids when we come to you here in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks for
spending more money.
Right?
Yeah, and then maybe since we're solid wasting, we'll go on to a couple solid waste discussion items. An update on the voucher program, which was wildly successful this year.
Kevin ought to read, I don't think he has the information with him, but he ran the program, like normal. We have 4 free days a year, and we base it off of what the average days hauling tonnage was the previous year, which equated to what this year we had up to 572 tons that we could bring in and get credit for free. Normally we get about 200 tons. This year Kevin got 535 tons. So 93% utilization.
Wow, that's awesome.
How have they been to work with? In the past, Republic was really good about giving us extra when we needed it, and giving us have they been good? I thought they were. I just wanted to.
Yeah, they've been excellent. Kevin,
I know when I've asked for it, I've gotten it, but I just want to hear it here publicly.
Yeah, no, it's going well, and each year gets better and better each time. We kind of just look at it previous years and then adjust it the next year, and it just gets better and better each time.
Because I've been getting phone calls lately from competitors from the past, and I'd like to just have it
Well, I
said
can
to the
tell you
world
too that
it's working.
we're about 2% up on our tonnage this year compared to last year, but with the new hauling agreement and the trucks and trailers that they use, we're down about 4% on the hauls. So and we're only going to Cowlitz County instead of all the way eastern Washington. So as a carbon credit here, that's a much better deal.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and then a request to hire for solid waste?
Kevin, yeah, we had a solid waste
You got all
attendant.
the paper over
Regretfully, she's resigned, because she was really fantastic. She brought really good energy to the
Yes.
position and the team. And she's got her CDL now and applied for, I think, she's gonna.
School district.
School district, drive bus and stuff, so.
She wants to go do that.
Lord knows she'd be a good school bus driver.
Yes,
Kids would be a good influence on the kids too, so
yes.
regrettably, we're losing her. So we'd like to open the position and fill it again.
I think that's one of those that's necessary.
Yep, it's not the general fund at all either, so
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
Great, thank you.
Okay. And this is not on the discussion item agenda, but another. This came in a little bit late in last week, right, Mike?
Yep.
But we do have another request to hire a replacement.
Our environmental specialist is leaving, going to Washington, so be gone at the end of the month.
Mhm.
Seriously? Why would they wanna go there?
He said there's a little bit more money and it's closer to his house and he can also work from home the whole time too, so.
Yeah, that's a lot
Very
closer
good.
to the house.
That's right, a lot closer,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. Yep,
So yeah, we'd like to replace that position, so.
sounds good.
And that's all we've got.
I got one more.
Oh,
All right.
Department of Corrections,
Oh, yes, I'm
up off
sorry.
of Sand Hill Road, Delmar Road, they're closing their facility for about 4 years. They would like to put a gate at the bottom of Delmar Road by Sand Hill for security reasons, so that they don't have to man the facility 24/7. We said, okay, let's look at that. We went to and researched it up. DNR actually owns the property. And so we were thinking, well, it's just a driveway to the prison anyway. We could vacate it back to DNR. Well, DNR doesn't want it.
I was gonna say, really, you think you can do that, huh?
They don't want to maintain it, they don't want to do anything about it. But Corrections still would like to do that, and they're in the process of working out an agreement between them and DNR for them to maintain it. The negative for us, we went to CRAB and said, hey, what, can we do this in a temporary status? They said, yeah, move it from a class 5 to a class 4. You won't be collecting gas tax on it. So it's 2,600 of a mile of road, it's $652 a year that we would lose, so to speak. We're okay either way. I just wanted a discussion with you guys to even move forward on it or not in that sense, because DNR is really worried. They're wanting to make sure that they don't have to maintain it and such. So, but we don't do much maintenance on it anyway. The Corrections, if they need to scrape any snow off or salt it or anything, they usually do that. It's way down on our list. So.
And the road's already, it's in pretty good shape.
It's in pretty good shape, yeah.
It's a driveway
It's
essentially.
basically a paved driveway.
Yeah.
So it's an odd question I'm gonna ask. I have no issue with it so far, but because that facility's down there, there's always a chance that in 5 years, 10 years, the state steps in and says, okay, we'll call that a highway and take responsibility for Sand Hill going up to it, or the back way from Bear Creek coming through. Not realistic, but it does happen. Would this interfere with that?
No, it would not interfere.
Then I'm 100% supportive.
What we've temporarily or proposed here originally is to put a resolution together to remove it from one classification to the other, and then specifically say when the gate is removed, it goes back to, we put it back onto the same, same process as before. The only thing is $652 a year, and which is pretty minor on our gas tax, so, if it'll help them out, so.
Yeah, and in speaking with Corrections, I might get the number wrong, but they were spending, or are currently spending, I wanna say 14,000, maybe 18, per month for security. So they are certainly anxious to move in a timely manner.
So they could give us half.
Right. Call it
So
good.
they're looking at least 4 years before they start talking to the youth again, huh?
Yeah, and I think they're leaving that out there just to make sure. That's probably long. They kind of act like they might be done before that. They're remodeling, rebuilding, some facilities back there.
They put everybody in Purdy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Growing up, it was always a youth camp, when I was growing up, in school out there.
That was the name of the road originally, Youth Camp Road. Yeah.
So we'll keep working with them and we'll bring something to you then.
Okay.
That is all.
Okay, I got something completely off the wall a little bit. Who owns the property across the street from the racetrack? That 90-acre parcel that the county has, is that solid waste?
Solid waste.
Owns it, and that's an enterprise fund. So if there's something that comes up on those properties, that money would go to that. Could you take a little time sometime and look and see what parts would need to be kept? Because I know we had some cleanup stuff there, there's probably some restrictions. Can you look at that in case an opportunity comes to the commission about whether to sell property or something there? Event centers, stuff like that, there's been a lot of different discussions but I don't even know what the boundaries, what we have for restrictions, so.
Yeah.
If you would mind find that out for us, put it out there, and then, so that would be monies, if it did sell, that would go towards, solid waste, again, just like the public works money we just did. I don't think there's any properties left now, right? Just the one that where the tank is, and that's not really for sale up there for public works?
There is
We just
a
closed-
property on Sand Hill Road.
No, I
on
meant
the-
the one up by your place.
Yes, I believe that was the final 2 lots that sold or
Yeah.
closed.
Right, 3 and
Yes.
4. 3 and 4?
I believe so.
Mhm.
We just signed on those and.
Yep. Yeah, any particular timing
Nope.
or urgency,
Nope.
Commissioner, just thinking ahead
Yeah,
about?
it came up in conversations and different ideas for partnering and things like that. And I know for myself, there was even talks of fairgrounds, like, I know just my own 2 cents. I love the idea of fairgrounds, I just don't wanna see us run it, because when the county ran it, government should not do everything, and when they do, we can't afford it. It's all union, it's all this and that, and we lost a lot of money when we ran the fairgrounds. But there's other people that partner and do things,
Sure.
and that might be an opportunity for land that's out there.
Yeah, Richard and I met with, to talk about potentially a shooting range. And then thinking that we're also kicking off our update to our master plan. So that's why I was asking about timing, like if we could think about completing our master plan update, then we would know basically how much land we needed to utilize. Could it stay on the entire acreage that we've already got and not encroach on the other acreage?
Right.
What do we
And
actually
that's the type of
need
things we
for
need to find out.
growth?
Right now with the stuff we just sold, there's gonna be some big changes that are happening. With that, the value
Yes,
of this
that might
property that we're
trigger.
discussing will exponentially go up. And its ability to be used, maybe, depending on what those restrictions are.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting it out.
Okay. Speaking of property, the property out off of, out by Schaefer Park, is that being listed? Or
A lot of-
surplus
we
property?
We got a road, are you talking
Yeah,
about
we
that
put a
one
road through it.
that you guys wanted? We pulled that off.
Right.
We did not follow through with that one. We figured we would let you do what you're gonna do, and then when you're done with it, if there's something left, we may give it or donate it, is what our discussion was, to Habitat for Humanity after that, but not before, so it was pulled back.
Well,
We're done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're completely done with what we're doing. That's why we requested to put it on surplus, and it was purchased with road fund dollars.
Oh, so you would get,
Yeah, road fund bought the property.
when?
Not too long ago,
3,
4 years
4
ago,
years,
3
yeah.
years, yeah.
Wow, then how did it end up being listed?
Because we purchased it so that the road extension, the emergency road out of the community could be constructed.
For flooding.
So you surplused it before you
couldn't-
were finished is what happened, so that came up on our list for being surplus and one on the market.
No, the road was finished.
Yeah, the road's finished, yeah.
And so then we said,
And we
okay,
wrote
we're done
ourselves an
here.
easement, and then we were gonna sell the residual of the lot.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
sell it back.
so with that, we're gonna have to ask you to do a little research, because I know that we can give away for $1 or whatever when it's ours, I don't know that we can do that with road fund.
Okay.
Can you find that out, please, and see if it
I feel
is?
like we can't.
Yeah, I don't know, because government to government, I know we can, but I don't know about nonprofit. Because we can lease a property for $1 to the fire department or whatever and do things that way, but I don't know if we can do it to nonprofit. So if you wouldn't mind just looking at that and finding out for us, because I've never even heard, I don't think any of us ever heard that it was road fund money. Or we would have thought of it completely different from the beginning.
Yeah,
'Cause it
it's
has to be sold.
probably something that
Maybe.
went through, because we would have requested approval for the purchase, which we did, yeah.
Okay.
But it's, like I said, it's been a while since that happened.
Well, we'll check and we'll figure out what that is, and then we'll get back to you on what we need to do, if we
Okay.
need to do something there.
Yeah. All right, that'll be easy enough to research. Okay?
Okay.
We're gonna have to ask our staff to always, because this is 2 times, it's happened, I've been here a long time, but it's still happened 2 times now, so we need to probably have that as a request every time we look at any of these properties to make sure.
Make sure,
Yeah.
figure out who owns it, really.
Because there's strings, if we do things, and I'm just telling you because you haven't been around, if we do something wrong, we can lose huge amounts of funding, matching funds, all kinds of stuff. We don't mess with that money. Have
You
fun.
wanna make crabby?
Yeah, that's a fact.
No
They
crab-
pinch hard,
crabbies.
so, and it's usually something stupid that we would do, but,
Yeah.
okay, thank you for that.
Yep. Anything else, commissioners?
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Happy Veterans Day.
You too.
Yeah. Let's hope it is.
Yes.
Surgery day.
Oh, that's right, yes. Happy Surgery Day.
Did you want to stick around for the budget?
Oh,
You don't have
sure.
to, I thought there might be.
Yeah, hang on,
Consider it a
we
holiday.
all rode together,
Today?
so.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Is it gonna be an annual holiday for you? In celebration, not in, yeah.
950,000, or, no, after taking the stuff out, you'll probably see about 800,000 show up in their budget from what just got signed last week.
Okay.
Hey, Chris, have you heard from Angela?
In 26?
Gonna show up this year.
Okay.
Into the road fund budget,
Okay.
because I just closed, just signed on.
Oh, it just got.
Last 2
okay.
parcels, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks for the heads up.
All right, Travis.
Yeah, so it sounds like Angela is still on her way, so we can pivot over and have Jen do her stuff.
Where are you starting?
So I'll start with the 2025 budget amendments. We can just go in order. So I'm going to do one more briefing probably next week on this. I'm going to check over all of the budgets again, make sure everybody's okay. Most everything, I mean, WSU, you've been briefed on. Facilities, the natural gas expense is the reason for theirs, the 10,000. Some of these, I don't think they're going to need it most likely, but just in case, we want to make sure they don't go over. District Court had, they're over on their interpreter fees. The sheriff has 22,500 for the jail software. That was briefed. I think it was briefed before the first budget amendment. They have not used. They have 50.
They have 50? I thought
Yeah,
it was
they're-
through law enforcement we did that with. I think it was 15, and law enforcement was the one that had 50.
Yeah, I mean the sheriff as a whole. The sheriff as a whole.
Yeah, that's what I meant, the
Yeah.
sheriff as a whole is 50, but.
Yeah, they
But-
have their 50, and we can definitely use that. I'm thinking that we're gonna need that though for Nisqually, and maybe more than that possibly.
They're asking for more in the budget too, right?
Yeah, they put some Nisqually in the 2026 budget as a PLR.
And we're considering Nisqually as a maintenance operation.
Yeah, so
that wages?
Nisqually is under professional services
Right.
Which is
in the
not
budget.
wages.
So we would have to move some salaries and benefits down. I think they're gonna have at least
700,000 in savings. So I'm not worried about it. The reason that I put the jail software in the budget is because it's going to be an ongoing expense. Maybe not the full 22.5, but it's something that we know is going to be there every year, and I want to make sure that it, you know.
So you want to
gets
add
in
it into
as
the
like a-
supplemental to make sure? That's what I'm.
I mean, we don't have to this year, but I want to make sure that it gets recognized that it is an additional expense in their budget. Where Nisqually, we don't have to use Nisqually, right? I mean, we kind of, our agreement has been to move the salaries and benefits down.
Yeah,
into
so that's one of the way we do it, and I
operating.
think the last time we all met, we all kind of decided we were gonna keep it that at status quo the way it was
Okay.
and do it that way.
Yeah.
And, I guess, huh?
This one.
Yeah, I guess my only question is just whether or not to do it as a supplemental, or just have it as part of the budget if,
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. It's up to you as a board how you want to do that. It wasn't clear when they briefed it to you as an additional expense, so I just assumed that we were adding it into their budget.
yeah, creating a new budget line, I always rather do in budget. As for the expenditure, if you think that it's needed in a supplemental, but supplementals are full of everything, and I'd rather have a small enough where we can keep track of everything instead of adding it if necessary.
Okay, so I mean, they can definitely afford it from their salaries, so I'll remove that one then.
What, by the way, what does CTG stand for?
I forget what it is.
Just curious.
I don't know.
Travis,
You know?
do you know?
What's that? Oh, for the CDG software? I do not know what that stands for. No.
Okay, so courthouse security and Office of Public Defense, I don't think they're gonna use those full amounts, most likely, but I wanna make sure they're covered. 60,000 and 350,000 respectfully. Non-departmental, we had the increase in the MACECOM, the tax, and so we need to account for that as a revenue and expense. So when you see the, $1.9 million coming out of the general fund, most of that 1.3 is also coming in as a revenue. So so we're not.
So run short about 6, is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking that, it could be up to an additional, we are talking overall, yes, I think that, but we're not gonna use all of that.
I was gonna say, is that including the expected increase?
Yes, so 1.309, because WSU is asking to put in to their revenue, but not increase their expense, so, which is just a.
Is that because of the vehicle?
No,
Repairs?
they also have, their vehicle repairs are increasing their expense, but they requested 9,000 that's not tied to that particular expense. So the 9,000 in different funding sources, they just want to be sure and show it as a revenue. So the 5,554, that was the vehicle expense, and that comes out of the ending fund balance for the general fund. It's not billed against any grant or anything. The transfers out, so we have the auditor requested the election equipment grant, so that is in here, so I wanted to be sure and point that out because it's not approved yet. And Tim Whitehead has weighed in and said he doesn't think, and I'm paraphrasing, and he's not here, but he is not sure that it is a sole source purchase, which would mean we would have to go out to bid for that software, and so it wouldn't happen this year. So
They've got a bid for software?
or I'm sorry, whatever it is, the
Oh, the
voting
machine?
system, yeah,
Okay.
machine, yeah.
Okay, I was
I don't
really
know what
confused.
it
You buy a
is.
machine, and usually you're gonna have sole source software if you buy a machine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not
what it
just
is,
software.
but,
So if it's not, a sole source, we wouldn't be able to do it, you know, in that
How
time.
do we determine that?
If it's the only vendor available that has, the specifications that are necessary, I guess, that, the only vendor that sells that, that particular
I think there was one
item,
other that was
or
approved by the
whatever
state.
it is. Okay.
Well, let's find out, let's do the work and find out. We have a elected that asked for something in their budget that's theirs, their grant money, give them the most leeway we can as we figure it out, but we definitely, if it's not sole source, we can't sole source. If it is sole source, then we can, so let's figure out exactly how.
Well, let's make sure that it's something that we can do.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
meant.
Okay.
May come out different if I said, but I know what I'm thinking in my head, so good luck in keeping up with my brain. But at least if it's still in there, we can continue to move forward. If not, if it falls out, it falls out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Well,
And then the next couple of things are mental health tax. That's just coming out of their ending fund balance. They have additional contracts that were awarded, so they just are adding that $385,000 into their budget to expend. And then Beards Cove Water was under on their salaries, and then Belfair Sewer is over, or they will be by the end of the year. So we're just moving $60,000 out of Beards Cove into Belfair Sewer to cover.
Can we do that?
them. Mhm. Oh.
That's just such an odd, because it's an enterprise fund, how do you take from Belfair, because
It's our staff allocation.
you can then choose the staff allocation.
Yeah.
That I understand.
Yeah,
Just to verify again, so this is coming before us again in a week.
it is,
So
yes.
this is what, so.
Yeah, this is just the
Okay.
first
Okay.
overview. I like to give at least 2 weeks.
No, I
try to
appreciate it, I'm
advance.
good, I just wanted to verify that as we're going through and doing some of these things, that
Yeah.
this isn't the final, so we'll
No,
have
it's
a
not the
discussion
final.
about it one more time.
Yeah. I'll talk to Tim about the sole source purchase.
Well, I will just say on the sole source purchase that, based on Tim's email, that there would have to be a resolution from the board finding that it is a sole source purchase. And so, it would be my interpretation that the auditor would need to come forward and demonstrate to the board that it is a sole source, and that you would have to agree with that and then have a resolution supporting that as a sole source purchase. That's the way I'm reading Tim's email
Can,
right now.
mind if I jump in for a second? Can we ask the auditor to bring back, that for briefing, first thing on next Monday morning, so we could,
Yeah, I'm on the calendar already, and
I will not.
I have already drafted the sole source resolution.
okay, so we'll have the discussion then, so let's make sure we have that before we do this, though.
One of the commissioners is
I
not
will
going to
not
be
be
here
here.
on Monday, and so is this
Okay, I'll
one that
have
we
it
should
for him.
have with all three commissioners, or can you zoom in for that portion, or is that too
Depends on if
onerous
I'm
for your?
checking in or not.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
She has a flight she's catching,
Yeah.
so.
Are we,
I'll be leaving after that meeting, but
yeah. I just want, because you know how I feel, I always try to make sure that everybody gets their, and I don't want to step on that, that's, I'm just trying to figure the right way to say what I'm gonna say. Is this something that you literally, gosh, I don't even know how to ask this. We don't want something on there that you definitely want to be there for the discussion of. That's what I always try to stay with. Is it something that you can just leave for us to decide that it fits that?
I would want to be a part of that discussion, just because of the information that I received is a little different. And so I would like to be a part of that discussion. However, I can always pull it off the action agenda.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, if you, we can do that, or we could even discuss during, because it has to be a hearing, it can't be, if it's part of the, not a budget, it's part of the supplemental, it has to be part of the hearing.
So a sole source purchase could be approved, at the same meeting as, think we have a meeting on December 9th.
Yeah,
if
I
remember.
actually meant, because I don't mind, you can do one or the other, but I'm not trying to say to pull your stuff off. What I'm saying is 2 opportunities to be pulled off. You have the opportunity to pull it off at that time, or to finish the conversation at another thing before the supplemental, and have you pulled off on a supplemental discussion. Because just because something's given to us during the supplemental, we don't always take them. There's times where we have said no, and on a supplemental. So you'd have 2 opportunities there, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So that's all that I have right now on the amendments. So the next thing that I have is the resolution to establish Fund 107, and this is for the RID for Shetland Road. Leo and I met with the treasurer's office, and we decided it was best for it to be a special revenue fund. So 107, the 100 series is special revenue. So this is just a resolution to create that so that we can record the revenue and expense in the 2026 budget. So I am requesting to do that, and the treasurer at the time had said, 187,000 I think would be sufficient, but she came back and said, let's do 250 to make sure we are covered, 250 in revenue and expense, just in case.
Okay. In the budget line?
Yes.
Or are we borrowing?
No.
Okay. Because I'm not okay with that.
No, just in the budget.
I'm supportive of that.
Not alone.
Because we have to pay back the interest on the stuff we don't
Yes.
use.
Yeah, just in the budget to make sure that,
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
better to be safe
I'm
than
comfortable
sorry.
with
Okay,
Okay.
great. Everybody's good with that? Good, so I'll add that to the 2026 budget, and,
Before we jump to the next one, I think Angela's on, so it'd probably be good use of our time to jump to her and let her get hers done, if we could.
Oh, she's-
Oh.
She was hiding.
morning.
She was hiding in the background.
Morning.
Morning.
You ready for me to jump in?
Yep.
All right, I have 3 things I'm briefing the board on this morning. One is the Public Defense Office's request to post the position of Chief Public Defender with a hire date of January 1, 2026. I probably will not be asking to renew my contract. I've taken it, I think I'm getting a position with the Clark County Public Defense Office here in Vancouver, so I won't be available for that. And we would like to have a permanent public defender, chief public defender. We need permission prior to being able to post that position, so we're asking for that. There's some statute associated with public defense and selecting a chief. It's in chapter 3626. And there's a bunch of details related to that, but that will get you to the statute. Any questions on that?
No, I'm supportive.
I'm supportive.
Yep.
Okay.
If we can get somebody
Okay.
to apply.
The next request or thing we wanted to brief on was hourly compensation for contractors. Maggie wrote these requests, agenda requests, but I think the board knows that we currently pay contract attorneys for the district court $150 an hour and $175 for superior court cases. So district court is the misdemeanors and gross misdemeanors. Superior court is felonies. So what we are asking for is to continue that rate of pay. If I remember correctly, we started that last May of 2025. And we've got, at least in Superior Court, 17 contract attorneys, and several of them we didn't get until we increased the pay. It's excellent pay because I take other cases in other counties. And we're asking to continue that. And then Maggie Houston and I are working on implementing a maximum billing amount per type of case. Again, with the RAND report that came out regarding the study, the indigent defense study. And our goal there is to
one of our goals is to get more people, law firms on contract so we can anticipate monthly costs to the public defense office. Any questions on that?
No, commissioners, you wanna go with what we've had since May?
Yeah, I have no questions, I'm supportive.
I think we have to,
Okay,
We have to stick
sounds
with
good.
Alright. Okay, and then the last one is Sean Tashner's proposal to increase his pay. He wrote a very thorough 2-page email. He is asking to go from $15,000 a month for Superior Court and District Court to $19,832. The total increase would be from $186,000 to $237,984. Part of this is the change in public defense standards. Public defenders, people that do indigent defense can take less cases. His cost of increase for doing business, and the amount of cases he can take, his attorneys can take each year. I work, and I don't have an opinion one way or another, but I do work with his Superior Court attorneys. They're fantastic, and I hear good things about their one district court attorney that comes. Again, his email is very thorough, so I'm gonna leave that to you guys to review unless you have questions about that. There's a lot of math in there, which I'm not very good at, but that is his request, and he is one of the contractors that has a contract instead of random billing each month.
So do we have a request in here already for an increase, or would this be additional for the, I don't see it in
Yeah.
the PLR, so this
No,
is
it's
just,
not.
that would be a new. And that's an increase.
How does it come out?
He's asking for his annual, it's split into monthly, but he's asking for his annual contract to go from $186,000 to $237,984.
So a little over $4,300 a month. More.
But what are we getting for that?
He takes a half contract in, he has 200 cases a year in district court and 72 cases a year in superior court. So we don't pay him hourly, we pay him per contract, so we don't pay him the $150 and the $175 an hour. We do an annual amount and split that equally.
Can we take a week on this and do the math and find out what that comes out to?
Absolutely, I think they have us coming back already on November 25th.
Let's see what that comes out to, and is there?
That would be the regular agenda, our regular meeting to approve it.
With the amount that we are now paying, you're saying that we're compensating, it sounded like you said more, generously, that we're doing well. Does that mean you are able to get more contracts if we need them?
Yes, the idea that Maggie and I have had is to try to switch more of our contractors from hourly pay to monthly pay like Mr. Tashner.
well, the increase, it sounds like a lot, but it really doesn't add up when you look at 400 misdemeanor cases down to 120. I mean, he's taking on he's got a, 300% increase.
The body of his email that it's a 7% pay increase from what he got last year to what he's asking for this year.
I'm not quite sure how he's gonna pull that off.
So he's not asking to take on any more cases, he's asking more pay for the same amount of cases.
It is at the same amount, but
100 misdemeanor cases per year to 120, and 150 felonies down to 47.
Yeah, it's still, it's 300% increase in
No,
the number of attorneys.
I think what he's saying there, though, that's what the new standard is, not that he's doing that, but he still wants the same amount of cases, but I'd still like to find out how much that comes out to.
Okay.
And then, but, we may have a problem because it sounds like we don't have a briefing between now and then.
I can email you or Travis, and then he can send it to you, if that works.
I just meant for us to agree to put it on or not.
Well, we
You
always
can
pull
email
off,
it to us, but we still need a public briefing.
But,
Yeah.
well, put it on Mondays,
You can do it Monday,
Yeah,
and then you can just fill me in.
yeah.
and you're okay with that? Okay,
We can be back Monday.
yeah, good.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you guys. We didn't hire a district court attorney, so thank you for that.
All right.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, thanks for your help, Angela.
No problem, take care.
It's back to you again.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, if you don't mind, I would like to start with the special funds this time, so that Public Works can be on their way.
I think we should
asked them
just
to
keep
stay.
them. We should just keep them here.
Just keep them here, just put them through, sitting through the general fund. So the, I mean, we can do that.
No, I'm just
if you-
kidding.
Okay. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, I'll share my screen so everybody can see. Okay, so the special funds, nothing has changed since I briefed last week on the special funds, besides me adding in $50,000 for Island Lake Management. Their public hearing is scheduled for November 25th, and we're assuming that that is probably going to be approved, so tentatively putting that 50,000 into their budget. So I want to start with the policy level request for roads. They're asking to put back the $1,080,000. I'm not really sure what the additional changes in there, but I don't remember if that
It was
was.
1,080,000.
It is
Yeah,
1.080.
Yeah, in the revenue there, they had 1,185,054 as their PLR, so that's what I plugged in.
I think the difference is what comes in compared to what we do for the number that we declare for what we take. So it comes in different that's the number comes in at.
Yeah, so they're asking to put that back into their budget as revenue. I would recommend not doing that.
I'm still the same place I was before. I think it's Canton. I think we're gonna have to go back to the old level that we had before. At least for 1, maybe 2 years while we readjust. They have a little bit of revenue also that just came in, so they can stay partial within their budget that way.
I don't know how we're gonna be able to make it if we give that back. If we give the diversion back.
Yeah, so I would recommend at this point keeping it at least at the $1,080,000, and we can adjust however you would like. If you want to keep it there for now, or if you want to, look at increasing. I don't know. It's up to you.
I prefer to keep it where it's at for now, until we get the final number. But I do think we're gonna have to, we've got some hard decisions to make going forward, so.
Pat?
Yeah, I keep it right where it's at.
Okay. Okay, thank you. The only other thing that I have for roads is the $60,000 in expense for the new wash rack, or pressure washer for the wash rack.
I support that one. Commissioners? Sorry, I had my head down, I couldn't see nods.
Okay. And if you don't mind, we'll just go through all of Public Works first.
Yep.
Okay. So they have in the landfill, under expense, $1,259,200, and that's for Ells Hill and Union Transfer improvements, replacement covers at Belfair and Ells Hill and Union.
I'm good with those.
Is there anything that's gonna have to be done because of the decision we made this morning? That we're gonna make on when it comes to the scales?
No.
Are you okay with it? Okay. And Pat, do you have any?
Yeah, I'm not, I don't know what you were talking about. I lost that.
So, so anything capital, I put as a PLR in their budget, a policy level request. So they're requesting just improvements to the stations, and it's covered out of their, it's an enterprise fund, you know, the landfill is, so it's covered out of their own rates. It doesn't come out of the general fund. So it's really, yeah, completely separate from the general fund, and a lot of these I kind of just make them go through the motions to make sure that it gets in front of the board, but they're very good at getting it in front of you anyway, so.
Okay.
So you're okay with that?
Yep.
Thank you. For North Bay, they have under expenditures $1,049,350 under expense, and again, this is all, you know, stuff that's capital, either improvements or replacements.
I'm good with that.
That was a yes to all?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then Russellwood, they have asked for an increase of $35,000 in their requests of transfers from the general fund, and then an increase in expense, or the capital of $478,100, and I didn't look to see if part of that could be like REAP funds.
That's what I was gonna ask, is the money that's being spent, is any of that for capital improvement that would?
Not that's already covered by a grant,
Right.
Commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll continue to look if there's ways to shuffle that so that it can be utilized, but at this point, we aren't seeing anything that would be either REAP or 09 eligible additional.
Because if you did, then we could supplant the other, of course, but
Exactly.
it would be nice if you could find it earlier rather than later. The reason why is it would be nice to take it out now
Sure.
and have it in there, and this way you end up with 50 or 100,000 to work with in the year.
Yeah.
But if you can't, you can't, and I understand that.
Yeah, at this point, no, we don't see it anywhere.
Okay.
There's no other option though, so with that being said, I'm supportive of it going in, but.
But hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful, yeah. I'll live with that one.
And I do want to point out that we have had $100,000 budgeted to move into Russellwood last year, and then this year, and we haven't had to move any yet, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, will we need to next year? I don't know, but it doesn't mean that we're going to actually use that money for sure
Yeah.
from the general fund. So, I mean, we could.
Yeah, just one thing, a little note of warning. As we go through this and the budgets get tight, those words are important to remember, but those are also the words that will get us in the most trouble. Because what happens is on the bad year, you plan for that and then it hits us. And when it does, there's no getting it back.
Yeah.
And, because they're cut to what they can and they spend it. And you can't blame them, they're allowed to. So thank you for pointing that out to us.
Yeah, I mean, our other option is to not increase the transfer.
I think we should do the amount. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna budget in my head that ain't gonna be spent.
Right.
I budgeted in my head that it's gonna be spent. And I think we all have to, yeah.
I mean, we could do it as a possible amendment next year if needed.
I'd rather leave it in now because this is a pain we're gonna have to deal with.
One or the other.
Okay.
Just admit it.
Yeah.
One of these years, it's gonna get spent.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a yes from all three? Okay, thank you.
But if you can find it, please do. Well, you know, I'm even supportive of, if you can find 100K, let's do 100K and put it in there and let's plan it out.
Because yes, I do agree that, yeah, if we keep saying yes to all these items, eventually it's gonna catch up.
Yep.
Beards Cove is the next fund. They are requesting $587,000 in expenditures, water meter upgrades, hydrants, Larson project, utilities and waste truck, and that's spread out between the utilities, the truck. And it's all covered by their rates.
I'm good.
Yep. Nice.
Thank you. The next one is Belfair Sewer. They're requesting $990,050, and that's for the general sewer facility plan of $200,000, membranes $367,000, irrigation pump $10,000, UV system $250,000, blowers $150,000, and the utilities and waste truck portion.
That's out of the cash on hand?
I believe it is, yes.
She's shaking her head behind you. I'm good with that, that's why we have the
It's a good nod.
the CFC charges and stuff, pays.
I look for the nods.
It is. It's an affirmative.
Yeah.
So everybody's good?
Yep.
I'm putting that in, thank you. Okay, and then the last one for Public Works is under equipment rental and revolving. They're requesting $580,000 in equipment for roads and. these are all roads.
Oh, yeah, that's broad.
Yeah, I think you already said yes to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check the numbers, because I do expect that they'll spend more out of it this next year, so.
I'm yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So their beginning fund, you changed it already, I see, so it's now up to, because their budget had it at a much lower rate, you put it at the rate that we discussed, you think it's gonna be about 14 million. So right now, it'd probably be closer to 15 now with the new cash coming in top off.
Okay.
Just to keep.
I'll look at that.
For roads.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so thank you very much for staying, you guys.
You guys can stay till the bitter end if you want.
Yeah, I'm not kicking you out or anything, I just.
Thank you.
Sure seemed like it, Joe.
Be gone.
I'm done with you.
I'm assuming they have other stuff that they would rather do, but, I mean, you know, as thrilling as it is to sit here through the budget. So moving on to.
Eric likes it.
What do I
Yeah.
like?
You like sitting here through the budget talks?
I don't like these shares, but
You're One's over here.
I'd say we bought the special ones for Tom Davis when he said that years ago. That's what the 4 odd ones are, for him, the front row.
Next time I get up, I'll move.
Well, let's go ahead and finish the special funds, since we're already in there.
Priority changed.
Okay, so we have, the $250,000 for election equipment, which is now being requested in the 2026, in the 2025 budget. Do we want to,
I think you have to leave it there till we make our decisions, because.
Okay.
And that's mostly all grant in, grant out anyway, right? Because the HAVA grant was, except for, it's a different
Most
amount.
of it, yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that, I think we might want to go the other way, because the HAVA grant, I think, should be paying for the expense out of the general fund. I think we might want to transfer the cash from 109 into the general fund, if that is approved. So I'm gonna check on that. I'll get back to you.
Because I understand that it was already approved to come out of the HAVA grant, so just double check all that.
Yeah, the HAVA grant though is in the general fund. And so, I don't know that it matters if we move that money into a special fund and then use the grant.
No, as long as it makes the circle, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But it'll, if it is,
I'll double
if
check.
it is in the general fund, we'll see that on that number.
Yeah,
But it does matter, that's that's in the general fund, that's weird that it's even in there. No, the HAVA, why?
Oh, the HAVA.
Yeah, why would that be in the general fund, out of curiosity?
because if it went into the 109 fund, that's just for equipment, election equipment.
No, I'm just wondering why it's not in their special fund.
Oh, the HAVA grant itself? I think as long as it's tracked, like Leo is tracking that, it doesn't need to go into a special fund.
I always worry that you're not gonna be here, I'm not gonna be here, and somebody else come in, they don't know. And we end up they have to cut, and they just cut stuff that's a real fear to worry about. So, although it may be easier bookkeeping wise, for transparency for people like us and anybody else that looks at it, special funds into special fund.
Yeah, I don't know. It was already
Just my 2 cents.
deposited.
I'm
Yeah,
just
for
throwing it out
sure.
there for you, because I'm thinking that through, that's,
Maybe in the future we
yeah.
could do it.
I'd like to have that discussion maybe next year. 'Cause
Okay.
protect the funds,
Yeah.
in the future.
Okay. The next one is the health department. So we have, they're requesting an additional $740,000 from the general fund, and expenses of $640,000. So they're requesting an additional $100,000 transfer, just to cover their administrative costs, and then the $640,000 is to add the additional abatement program.
I'd like to hold off on that.
Same.
Yeah, I'm not tracking your numbers.
I don't mind the part that's coming in, it's anything additional above that I have a problem with, just to be clear. If we got money coming in from abatement or something that,
And I don't see that we are.
It was, I think, from the general fund is how it was
Yeah.
gonna be funded, so.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a no from all of you.
I just don't know how we can add that. It's gotta come from somewhere. So the 100,000, and then let's see, the Swanson shellfish recovery, is that one is money in, right?
Yes, that one is a grant of $135,000, and the expense was $135,000.
Okay. I like to see that, because then it doesn't come out of, still comes from somewhere, but
I hate to jump out of that, but I need to do one, because I keep forgetting. The monies that we get are supposed to be getting for the gooey duck habitat that we are renting and leasing. We're also supposed to be getting a share, and we haven't seen updates on that. Could you please,
Yeah, I'll update you
in
on
the
that.
future, get that to us and
Sure.
see what's happening and
Yeah, good point.
get some.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I know that they have been, paying us for their harvests, but yeah, I'll get you the dollars.
yeah, each year if we can.
Okay.
So, Commissioners?
Dave?
Yeah, so it's not a 740,000 transfer in. So take the 135 off of that, it's a 640K transfer in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got it.
That's what we
Yeah.
understood.
Okay, all right, because that's not what's in the comments, or in the notes.
And nobody can read it from here anyway. Just kidding.
That's what I put in the, no to the 740 transfer in, because there was 100,000 additional, right, Dave?
Yeah, so 505 for solid waste work, 100,000 for,
Additional position
bring us
and
back up to
expenditures.
speed on Regular County input, so it's the 605 includes the 100,000 plus the solid waste work.
Oh, okay, thank you. I forgot that was already included in the, yeah, it's not 640, it was,
Right.
yeah, the 135 is included in that
That's what I heard in my
740
head.
and 640,
When
sorry.
we were
I
doing the
forgot
numbers,
about
that's what I
that.
was doing.
Yeah, me too.
Because I can't read your stuff anyway.
You can see that?
Oh, bad idea. It happens.
It does. I'm
Thank
just
you,
giving it a
Dave.
hard time.
Today's just one of those days that's boring.
It's the weather.
Okay, so that takes care, so that was a no on those besides the 135,000, right? So the last one, I think that was all. Yeah, that's all. The rest of those were Public Works. So, okay, thank you. That will help with putting the numbers together for next week, so we can get it on the website. So moving back to current expense, or moving to current expense. Right now, we have, the beginning fund balance is estimated to be 24 million roughly, and I think that we are going to be roughly there after I looked at the numbers again.
Cool.
So I think maybe a little bit higher than that. We have total expenditures in the general fund. I'm sorry, total revenue. I'm like loopy tired right now. The revenues for the general fund, 46,649,556,000, for a total budget at this point of $70,649,556. So that's total cash and revenue. Expenditures, we have salaries and benefits that are estimated at $38,269,822. Operating expenditures, $19,093,419. And then estimated ending fund balance, $13,286,315. And looking at the trend and where I think we're going to start the year next year, I think we will end the year next year somewhere between 20,500,000 roughly and 22,500,000.
That's if everything goes good. This year was a different year. We had a lot of bodies that didn't get filled for a long time.
Yeah.
And that may not happen. So, you know, I understand where you're coming with the numbers. I just think this time you're rosy on that one.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, I think so.
So the PLRs for the general fund that are outstanding. I mean, we've tentatively approved, we'll just start at the top. The assessor's office, tentatively you approved $1,000 in office supplies and then $2,000 in travel.
Is that
So
what we
could
ended?
we-
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. So could we, so if we didn't do any increases in anything and stayed with the 2025 approved? Because I went through and did my own little calculations here. And in 2025, they had 8,000. 24, they had 8,000. So they're asking for a 2,000 increase. So if we stayed with the 2025 approved budget, that
Approved
would-
with maintenance level, what's
Right.
been included in maintenance level so far, okay.
Yeah, so if we did that, that would be 25, it was 1.5 instead of the 2.7, right?
So right now, their operating budget is at $281,008, so that would bring them down to $278,000. Because I've increased their operating to include contract increases and,
Oh, right,
reasonable
right.
other expenditures.
But if we just stayed with, so the requested PLRs, see what I'm saying?
I think she's just talking right now, correct me if I'm wrong, the 2,000, we'll use that line item as an example for the appraiser accreditation, where the currently had been 8,000, this is $2,000 more if we stayed at the 8.
Right.
The question.
For the three, the
Yeah.
3,000 was for the accreditation requirements for 25.
Yeah, and that was the question I had when we had a discussion with her. Was there anything that she said was absolutely new and necessary?
I don't believe she said that that it was absolutely new or necessary.
That's what I remember as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So with that, I know we had talked about it, I'd like to make sure they get the training that are necessary, but if they have to pick and choose a few, it's pennies over the thing, but
Yeah.
this is one that may be on that. I think they needed it up though, on the overall cost of goods and stuff increase. I think that one was still needed when we talked it out.
Well, my thought process on that is, if they do need something later in the year, they can always come back and ask. But what this does is it kind of lets people know that we're trying to go only with what's necessary. And if it's not necessary, then try to order less pens or whatever.
You know, I don't disagree that, and I definitely won't fight the point, because, but at the same time, I think that one is, that's why it was part of the cost of increase what they've been doing. I don't think you can cut too much when it comes to pens, but I won't stand against that if you want to just keep it 0. I'm not gonna argue that.
So no PLR increase then for their office? Is that what you're?
They can always come back and ask for a supplement.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna have a lot to give.
We're not.
So at the end,
And that's the problem, so that's why I'm
But,
saying,
no, I'm comfortable
don't ask
with-
for more.
I'm comfortable with those two.
With taking them out, right?
Not,
Is that
not,
what
right.
Yeah, not
It's the
increasing.
proper term, we're not taking it out.
we're- Oh, well, not increase, yes, not
Not
increasing,
approving
thank
it.
you.
And so just so you guys know, I went through this and I was very restrictive in what I thought was necessary. And I talked to other departments also to see if there's other ways that we could make it easier, take costs down. And honestly, I didn't find a whole lot that we needed to do this or next year. Just to keep our costs down.
I met with the sheriff's office on their training increase, and they feel that they can live with what they have in their maintenance level budget.
And I think that's what we all kind of agreed anyway, we went through it. The same.
Okay, so do we want to just look at then what was previously approved and ignore all the other requests at this time? Is that kind of what you're.
Say that one more time. When you say previously approved, what does that mean? Because we had,
Previously verbally approved, what's in the approved general fund column.
if we've all approved it, the three of us, I don't mind not doing that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the ones that we haven't.
Yeah, there was a question on the small equipment from financial services. And TJ said, yeah, that's good. He agreed with that, it was good to go, so I went with that one, the 5,300.
Okay.
Oh, would that come out of the IT?
No, IT
Or is this-
only pays for things that benefit the entire county, so if there's like a
And
piece
there's
of
a
equipment.
special.
Well, it is, but, I think that request is excessive, the 5,300 for a printer and monitors.
TJ told me that the printer is actually specific because it's doing checks and things
Okay.
like that, so it's not your typical.
IT, they've been good
Yeah.
with their numbers and stuff like that, so I'm comfortable with going with their number.
Yeah.
The 53.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pat?
I'm okay with what, I know.
What TJ says?
Gee, yeah. It's,
He's kind of smart.
yeah. Tries to keep the cost down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then is there anything else under the auditor's office that you want to, approve at this time?
Well, is there stuff that because we were pretty good on stuff that, where we thought it was okay, but then Sharon wanted to hold off, so I don't know which ones we're at on that. And I also want to make sure in order, we're each individually important. If she said hold off on something, even though the two of us were saying, yes, I think we were saying, but we'll relook at it because she was holding on. And so we wanted to relook at it, because maybe she'd give us an argument, why not, or,
Because I was being cranky.
no, because just like right now, you had an argument of why we shouldn't do it, and that's
Thank
why.
you. Thank you.
So if you have, I can't tell which ones are those,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can from your own notes.
From mine. Let's see, travel, training, and supplies. All three of us said hold off on those. Overtime, I would like to not approve any overtime for any department at this time. They already have it in their budget for overtime, so.
Yeah, they do have $10,000 in their budget for overtime, which is quite a bit for a department, so.
I'm supportive of not adding.
Tighten the belt.
Everybody's gonna feel it, so. And then it looks like, emergency management. Oh, are we done?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, unless there's anything else that you want to,
I'd rather hold off for now.
On emergency management.
Emergency management, that was the retired employee replacement training. Oh, and that was because they got Tanya, they hired Tanya. So I'm not sure whether she needs more training or not. They already have 4,000 in their training budget.
yeah, I don't know either. That's something that John could come back and ask for.
No,
if needed.
He could come back.
I'm sorry to jump back to the other, because I don't know which ones we agreed to and which ones we had in the past, so, some of them were money in, money out. If it was covered money in, money out,
Which ones?
I would think maybe on some of the elections and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the one that jumps out to me is the $6,000 grant-funded equipment upgrades. But that was I mean, you had said more info was needed, and
Yeah.
I don't think I got any more info on that.
Well, I myself, I'm good with that, that's their department, if they think they need the equipment upgrade, that's also, they got line items for that.
They did, they've got 6,000 in there right now,
Yeah.
or that's what the 25 budget was, 6,000. Oh, yeah.
What more clarification does the board need? Those costs for the extra help and overtime are reimbursed elections costs?
Yeah.
And then the equipment upgrade is the sensors for the ballot drop boxes that we purchased under the information security grant, so we're reimbursed for that too.
So question for you, if they're reimbursed, why do we have them as an expense? 'Cause to me, that's like a grant. So you have a grant that covers that.
Revenue in.
Revenue in, revenue out.
And revenue out, that's why,
Yeah.
it's in the revenue in.
Yeah, so there probably is revenue in, but I can't tell what's covered by that revenue that's put in. So, it needs to be communicated to the budget office what that grant is paying for, so that's helpful information, thank you. It's helpful to know, if that revenue is budgeted for. Yeah. Is that revenue in the 2026 budget?
Yes.
For this? Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'm okay with those, because it's revenue in, revenue out. I don't wanna mess with that. And the same thing with the grant-funded upgrade. Because if we take.
If it's money in, money out, I have
Yeah.
no problem with it.
Okay.
If it increases the budget, and that's what it looks like to me here, was that it was increasing the budget. And so that's why I was concerned with
Oh, I got you.
the increase.
So seeing it's not, I'm supportive of moving those forward. And also keeping the revenue in.
And Pat, you're okay?
Yeah, it's a zero sum.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. But what I'm seeing, it doesn't show
Well, I
the,
don't know, it's okay. I'll tell you why.
it doesn't show the revenue portion of
That's
it.
You don't have to. But you can.
Yeah. And then emergency management, they have 4,000 in 2025 already, they're asking for an additional 1,000.
It says employee replacement training needed. Now, is
Yeah.
there actually somebody that has to be trained and that's the difference?
So when John put that into his budget, he wasn't sure if the person that he hired had the appropriate training. He knew that his employee.
Sounds like she does.
Yeah, I would think
Never
so.
heard.
So,
Let's take that out.
okay.
Okay. Moving to the clerk's office. Digitizing the records, the $148,000, that's not something that has to be done this year. And Travis and I went over and spoke to the woman that's doing it for Kell. And she is awesome, by the way. And so she had some ideas, there's also grants out there, but it does not have to be done this year. So I would say no on that.
And as overtime, it's just.
And that's
it's
overtime, I would
just
say
not.
any of it, anything right now on that one, I would say no. Let's see, as far as the office supplies, they already have 15,000 in there. IT, additional IT equipment, I'm not sure what that was for, and they already have 10,000 in there. And then machine maintenance, they already have 3,000 in there. So I just put zeros.
Okay.
On the machine maintenance, when we were talking about that though.
Yeah, he's,
He withdrew that.
He withdrew the,
request. Yeah.
yeah, he withdrew it on the 27th of October.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have taken that out completely. That's confusing.
No.
So are we all in agreement, are you all in agreement to not adding any of these costs into his budget?
Yeah, we
To
had the
clerk's
discussion on
budget?
office supplies, and I'm trying to remember what we came up with for our discussion. Was there an actual cost increase?
and I don't think that was proven.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that made me think that it was, so
I don't think so either. I mean, and
I
again.
think it was left out there as ambiguous a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If we never got any other documentation coming in because of it.
Yeah, and he could always request a budget amendment for office supply.
If necessary.
Yeah.
But if we tell people that we want, all the different departments, that we want them to really just be cautious and spend less than what they normally would.
And what was the IT equipment again?
I never got an answer on that, so I'm not sure what it was.
We'll leave it up.
So all of these are no's then?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Yes, they're no's.
Yes, they're no's.
Aye, aye, aye.
Bang, bang. So,
Oh, I'm gonna go back up and put the auditors in before I forget. Okay, so we have, support services. Personally, I think we have enough to cover in our travel budget.
Okay.
So-
Agreed.
Okay.
So zeros.
We can just
And then
move, we
thank
can
you
move past
also,
that.
thank you also for rescinding the financial analyst.
Yes, I rescinded that request.
That should be a message to other departments, that we're doing what we can.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, the next one that we have is district court. They're requesting an increase to their interpreter line. I did put a $10,000 request into the 2025 budget amendment.
Okay, say it again, let's back up. So if you put it into the 2025 budget amendment, it'll automatically go into the 2026, no?
No, because the 2025 is based on the budget, the adopted budget, not
Yeah,
the
but if you're gonna amend it-
revised. For 2025.
So that usually will become the new norm unless you're saying they're not gonna need it. That's what I'm asking.
We have looked at the norm as being the adopted budget over the last couple of years. So, I mean, we could,
I thought the norm was based on what they actually spent.
I mean, it's a
I was
mix.
just going by the adopted.
Yeah,
But
it's-
what they actually spent is more important than what we adopted.
Yeah.
So if we have a certain amount, if you're adding 10,000 this year,
Mhm.
I would expect they're gonna spend at least that, because they're telling us that it's gonna get even greater. So what would the new norm be, and does that cut into the 18,000?
I mean, we could, plug in 10,000 for next year. I mean,
Is that-
that's what they needed for
That's what they need in
2025.
2020. I would think that that's our maintenance.
Okay.
Because it's not gonna go down. They made it clear it's gonna go up. And there's nothing we can do about it to talk him into doing something different.
We need some AI software to do that.
Right.
but-
So with that, I'm supportive of
10.
the last year's, this year's
10?
expenditures.
Last year's, this year's.
Yeah.
It gets confusing when we're working on two budgets at once.
Mhm.
And Pat, you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I actually don't agree. I think it's not gonna be increasing as much as they say, but
So do you want to,
10's fine.
I mean, we had talked about 9 before, that was my note.
Mhm, that's what I had too.
Yeah, but if you already did the 10, that's what you're
Let's just
thinking
go
about,
with the
just keep it simple.
And Pat, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then I'd rather not increase overtime.
Okay.
And I know that they've got the special project,
But that's why they can come to us. in the middle of
that
the
they
year.
can come with us, yeah.
Yeah, because if they have one person that doesn't show up, their wages, they'll have 15,000 to move over.
So what's the CLJ CMS project?
Do not know.
You do not know.
That's what it is.
Okay, so no on the overtime and the judge pro tem?
Judge Pro Tem, so last year they had 79,000, or this year, jeez. 79, in 25 approved budget, it was $79,869. In the 24 budget, it was $80,000. And they're asking for a $15,000 increase. I said no, knowing that if they needed more, they could come back and ask. But
I agree with that. This is another one of them that we'll find out as the year goes on, and
Yeah.
if somebody doesn't show up, that's, or, you know, the only option is laying people off, so.
Mhm.
We're starting to get to the stuff we just said no to is one body, we're getting
Right.
close to one body on that.
Yep.
Okay, then we have in here that there's $50,000 for the 2 zero-turn mowers, and I think I remember from somewhere that we were going to only move one into
Do
next year.
one, yeah, one next year, and then it needed one the following year. I
Yeah.
think that they said that they could do that.
Yep, that's what I heard too. It's always nice to have redundancy, but they can keep the other real bad one and not be redundancy, just sitting in the closet. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And so everybody is in agreement?
25.
Okay, thank you.
This next one was a harder question.
It was, but we already have that person on the books, right?
But they're not paid for
Retain the
because we,
detention officer.
They're not in the budget.
yeah,
They're not in the
budget,
budget.
no, because there was the granting, and money we kept, this one of the ones we kept track of to say
Yeah.
when the funding dries up.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was a hard one for me.
They made it sound like they can't do without, but I don't know.
Yeah, because the person is on FMLA that they're covering for, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, if that person doesn't have any time on the books, technically they kind of are in the budget.
Kind of. And did they have no idea when that person would be back, right?
They can't ask, right?
Right, yeah, they
I
can.
don't know.
Can we have them come back and we can take another look at it when and if that person
I
comes back?
prefer that too. Well, except for they'll have to let go of a body if they don't.
Well, they can come back and reevaluate it once they know that that person's coming back, then they can come back to us and.
No, because they have to get rid of one now if we don't put it in the budget, but if we put it in the budget, we could do it half a year and come back to us for a reevaluation.
Don't do a half year.
Yeah, or bring it back and let them talk to us one more time. I'd kind of like to hear from, except you're not gonna be here, sorry. Because I'd like to, I'm still.
Can we do it
That
for a
was
half
harder.
year? Have we ever done that?
Yeah, we can do a half a year.
Could we do a half a year?
Funding for a half a year.
Yeah, okay. Done it for half?
Keeps the
Okay.
person in there while we figure it out and bring it back to us again.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Then we have the sheriff's office requests. We have the deputy request, the community service officer request.
The deputy request, I'm supportive of that, but out of
Opioid funds.
opioid funds.
My only concern with that is those funds are gonna dry up, and then what?
This one is like the position we're talking now.
Because it's
This
for
one,
dare.
yeah, it's a 3-year request. And then they'll offset how they'll
And-
use it and stuff.
Well, we're talking about the opioids at
Afterwards, yeah.
one. Do we wanna hold off?
We can't, I know this is one that I think is low hanging fruit because I think we may have to ask for something here shortly in that department.
So, any other thoughts?
This is for the DARE officer, the 125, 617.
Yes.
And that's fully loaded.
Yes, sorry, I was
Okay.
thinking.
It was more of a statement than a.
Yes, it is fully loaded. I don't know if that officer, though, I'm assuming they would need a vehicle, and that is not.
But they've
That's
got
already
the-
taken care of, yeah.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
the
the car.
new car, yeah, okay.
Yeah. See, originally I thought we were talking 150 though, so I'm trying to figure out where the other, I think the request total is 150 out of the opioid funds. Travis, do you remember?
No, I thought it was just the 125. If there was another 50 in there, I'm not sure what that
Or
was
it'd
for.
be another 25 that was covering some of the ancillaries and stuff. I thought the request, at least when I talked to him, was 150 over a 3-year period. So 125 was a body, but
If there's an extra 25 in there, I don't know what that would be for.
I wonder if they had included the car originally.
They may have included the car originally because they didn't have the
not the
donation.
car, but the upkeep
wrap.
and stuff like that, and all the other stuff. So I think the wrap is being donated too.
Yeah, everything about the car
But-
was being
But,
donated.
you know, fuel, maintenance, stuff like that. There was a few other things for training or something.
Yeah, but
Again, I don't have that in my packet. I had a special packet that was for.
I would say that that could be subsumed. I mean, 125 would.
Well, I'd be comfortable with the 125 as long as it comes out of opioid.
Opioid. See, it's hard to
I didn't
say.
say,
Yeah, if we want it to come out of the opioids.
we gotta quit drinking for work.
Or maybe we need to start.
Yeah.
Wait, drinking without me?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of using grant funds or opioid funds for people. That's,
It's the only way we can do it, because we
yeah.
Yeah.
don't have the money.
So
That's the way a lot
maybe
of
that could
counties
be.
got in trouble.
Yep. But that would have to be, if it's for 3 years, I don't know. I would be comfortable holding off until after we have the discussion at
I'll
law.
support that. So Jen, we'll get back to you afterward.
Okay.
Good with that?
Hate to hold you off
I
yet
know.
again.
It's okay.
And again, and again.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we all approved the IT, the card printers, mobile fingerprint reader, and the
Yes.
Vero iPad.
So Jen, I just ask that you make it real clear that our intention on that person in juvenile is to relook at it.
Mhm.
And it is only funded for half a year, because that may be the cut that we're asking for.
Okay. Yes, I'll go back and plug that half a year into the approved line when we're done.
That's on the juvenile.
Yes. Okay, what about the CSO position for the county sheriff's
I'm a
office?
no on that one right now.
As am I.
And then travel said, they said they didn't need that, right?
So I'm a no there as well.
Yeah, they said.
And then on the capital, tell me if I go too fast.
They came
On
back
the
with
capital, I've talked to Kelly, and Kelly said that he still has $50,000 in one of the other remodel for Helix. And so he said that he would recommend having Helix take a look at a possible solution. And then see where we're at next year.
On the building?
On the
Yeah.
evidence?
On the,
Yeah, I was supportive of, we were gonna pay for a portion of like the building itself, but it would come out of REIT funds.
yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's what, when I talked to Kelly, he said that have Helix take a look at it because it's fencing, it's all sorts of other stuff, and if Helix can do an estimate, then we'll have a better idea of whether or not that's actually, even if we cut it in half, the $785, the $350.
One way well, yeah, and I didn't even want to spend $350 one year. So, what I would like to see, and that's just my opinion, that we allocate out, let's just say, for example, $150 this year into that out of REIT as a placeholder, so they can start to perhaps do the building, and if need be in the middle of the year, if we need a little bit more to finish just getting the building itself built, then it can come to us.
Cold water or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
because there's stuff they could store in there that some of the stuff don't have to be in the heated building.
Would you be supportive of Helix taking a look?
Of course, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least we have it in the budget,
Mhm.
then they can start that process and go through it, and if they don't have to spend it.
So 100?
150
150.
out of REIT.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Whichever one has the biggest pocket of REIT that we can use it in, out of the two, because
Okay.
we may be talking people out of REIT as well.
Yeah, nice that they can be used for the same thing now.
Yeah, so nice.
Going forward, are you gonna need to keep them separate?
I don't know. That's a good question, and one that we can have later.
We can answer later.
Yeah, okay. I don't
Until they change it, we can't,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I can't until the legislature says.
because they could change it back. They could
Yeah,
switch
that's what I'm
anything
thinking,
they
that would
wanted
be,
to.
Mhm.
that would be
That
a
would be
nightmare to
chaos.
put it back, so. Okay, so we approved, you approved $20,000 for the new K-9 team.
And we
There's-
approved 7,000 for a drone, right?
3,500 for one drone, I believe.
3,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I skipped that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, 3,500 for one
Yeah,
drone.
for 172.
The 20,000 for the K-9 team, and then what about the 44,000 request for the front office remodel through REIT?
Let's hold off on that for now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'd like to prioritize the remodels.
Yeah. I think that they made it clear that that evidence.
Yeah, it's pretty far down on their priority list.
Yeah.
And like I said, we may need some of those $3 for.
Evidence room.
Right. And then the majority of the rest of their requests are for overtime. We've already talked about the Nisqually, right?
Yeah, the disquality, we're just keeping exactly as we're doing, we're starting a new line on it,
Right.
at least this year.
Right.
Yeah, and then the other requests, I think were just kind of, they didn't prioritize them, so I don't think they were that important. They didn't talk about them during their presentation.
Right.
So public defense has 2 positions in their budget, a new public defender 1, and then a legal secretary.
Do you know where they're at right now on positions that are filled under the public defender?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know that they did have quite a bit of salary savings.
Yeah. So let's leave it right now. If we have to make an adjustment in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I'd say no, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems
Deny
stupid
them.
to say no to it, but at the same time, there ain't no use of putting it in the budget now if it's
Right.
not filled up yet, those positions. Same with the legal secretary.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Pat?
Are we even gonna get attorneys
Right.
to show up to
Well,
apply?
let's assume we can get it cheap.
Okay, so no to the legal secretary as well.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we have Superior Court, yes, Superior Court. They're asking for the temporary judicial assistant for succession planning.
25,000, 25,700. I'll support that. I think you were supportive. Huh?
Succession planning for,
Mhm. She's gonna retire.
what's a FLF?
Is that the?
I forget what it stands for.
Oh, shoot.
You
That
guys
is-
all use these acronyms
I
and nobody
know.
knows what they stand for.
CNFLS, oh, FLF.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's gotta be in there.
Just
I'll pull it up real quick.
use your words, guys. Come on.
So
It's a
are we
surprise.
in support of that, or you want to find out what FLF stands
Let
for
me-
before?
I was in I just remember the conversation, I remember being supportive of it.
Yeah,
Succession
so
plan
did
is
I.
too important.
Yeah, it was for, gosh darn it, who was it for? Wanted to remember before I looked. That's,
Yeah,
Frontline manager. Maybe.
Fred.
Frontline,
Did you Google it?
It's FLF though.
but it's an F. Frontline foe.
Facilitator, maybe?
So many F
Might
words.
be that.
Well,
Let me see if I have a
I'm,
longer,
no, that's
note.
fine. I'll ask one of our Superior Court
Oh, it's
judges.
family law facilitator.
Oh, good job.
Thanks, Patty.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, my
We'll
goodness.
support succession planning.
I almost said facilitator, but I thought, man, I'll be off. Thanks, Patty. Appreciate your help.
And then they're asking for a judicial assistant, for protection orders.
Well, we also talked about the ADAM program, the
Oh, yeah.
legal
Yes,
ADAM, and that was $18,000 a year instead.
So do we want to put the 18,000 in, or do you want to leave it at 0 for now? How do you want to handle that?
Can we ask Patty to do a little bit more research on that and see if it's actually doable and that way we're not hiring somebody that we don't really need? Or we have to let go. Right. Good?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get more information.
Got work for you, Patty.
You can't trust Adams. They make everything up. Or they make up everything, I guess. So.
That's funny.
Okay, and then their office supply increases.
I would say no.
So I'll put in a note for you, Sharon, if, I want to ask everybody, so it's easier to make one note if everybody's in agreement for me, but.
You guys agree?
But if, oh, you're okay with that,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, thank you.
You're typing when everybody nods, so that
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
help.
Yeah, and my head's down, so I don't see it either.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and that was no on all of that, all of the office supply increases. If they're on here, I felt like it was probably in excess, so if that makes you feel any better. 8,500 for equipment, or furniture, that was kind of a just in case thing.
Yeah, I said no on that one. Commissioners?
I agree.
Yeah, no.
Copy my comment.
Back to the interpreter.
I know. Last year they had 60,000, this year, gosh, the 2025 approved was 60,000.
What, are
That was
any
budgeted.
increases in your supplemental?
I didn't put any in, but it is possible that I didn't, look at it close enough.
Can you see where we're at right now?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Eyes are gonna be exhausted by the end of the day.
So at the end of October, they're at $53,758, so they are,
Getting
Pretty
close.
much on
Yeah.
track.
yeah, 90%, they're a little over, I think benchmark is like 83.33% or something, so, so they are a little over, but not that far over.
Yeah, stay with that.
Stay with the current budget.
Was that 3 nods?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have said we could cut it in half like we did with district. I mean, if you want to say 5, I'm okay with that too, but
I can go either way, so.
yeah, zero's a better number than.
Yeah, I like no increase right now.
One thing about it, we do know within their budget, if we have an issue, we'll go
Mhm.
halfway through the year easy
Yep.
enough. I don't like to budget that way, but at the same time,
I don't think
sometimes
we
they
have a
have to.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the next one, 76,000, and,
That's for jazz, right?
yes, and I apologize, I have not checked to see if REIT can pay for that, yet.
Let's hold off till we know that.
Okay,
So,
I did kind of a deep dive into that, and I couldn't find a way that it could be justified unless we were doing a total overhaul of that courtroom. But if it's just a replacement of hardware or
But
software.
we are doing overhauls of the courtrooms and moving things around though.
Well,
Moving people around, yeah.
I was looking through MRSC and a bunch of those, and that it felt that even that was questionable, but the most likely justification. So even that wasn't like absolutely you could do that. But it sounded like if you were doing a complete remodel of the courtroom and those kind of things, then maybe you could justify it in that regard. That's about as close as I could get on.
And it's a large amount, so let's have that conversation for a second. What does that look like if they come back and say no? I already know the answer to this, but we need to talk about that. If they come back and say that that was not the correct use of it, what does that look like?
do we have to pay it back, or is it just an audit finding?
Or, well, it wouldn't even be a fine, it would be a note, or they might ask us to pay it back. That's what I see. And even then, might not even require it, just say that we don't think that was appropriate. If we intend to do it, it's worth,
Yeah, I think it has to be done.
yeah.
So I don't know that we have a choice as to
And
whether,
that's why
we
I'm,
just need to figure out how it needs to be
Yeah.
paid.
I mean, I can get an opinion on that, I can do a help desk to MRSC.
well, if you
or-
get an opinion and find a way to, if you don't mind, find a way to incorporate in what he was talking about, because there
Okay.
is a lot of stuff going on right now with all the movement, everything else we're doing. If it's ordered right, it should be able to be justified, but if not, the worst case scenario is we have to
We have
find,
to pay for it.
yeah, but we have to buy this anyway, so.
Yeah. Either way, we're gonna have to spend
We're
some
gonna
amount of our
use our
budget.
body.
we're gonna have to pay for it, it's whose budget does it
Yeah.
come
Right.
out of?
That's 3/4 of a person.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll check with Tim before I do the help desk also.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're down to a couple.
And what is
items.
JAVS? Judicial, audio visual?
I believe so, judicial audio.
Shit, he's gonna be writing the manuals.
Right.
That's what he's doing secretly.
Yeah.
He's compiling an acronym manual.
Tim was here 3 terms and still got pissed every time we had a meeting and got an acronym.
Tim.
Okay, so now we just have 1,790 for dues and miscellaneous.
I'm a no. Keep at what we have. Commissioners.
Yeah, I'm really skeptical of miscellaneous. So, no. No increase.
And that's a consensus. Thank you. The next one, the juror meals. When I looked at their budget, they looked to be okay on their,
On the chair meals.
yeah.
They've got 17, but 1,700 was budgeted for 25. which was also for 24. If needed, I think they can come back and ask.
They'll be able to live within their means on it, then if it, you know, because they can still move stuff around on the whole other maintenance and operation side.
Yeah.
If $300 breaks them, but they can come to us if, for next year to justify it.
Oh, Patti just sent me an email that says we did a full remodel of the main courtroom earlier this year.
So
So it would not be.
No, but it's part of that full.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, because
Oh,
I know they did.
gotcha, yeah.
It's all part of it, it's ongoing, it's not finalized and finished up, it's all the same year. It
Obviously,
seems
it's
like
not finished, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's a close justification if we can pull it off, but we'll get the opinion.
Yeah, so I'll include that information in my request, so that's helpful. Thank you, Patti.
Yeah, right.
And
So,
we think nobody's listening.
When it comes to budgets, yes, they are.
so, the last one is $8,000 Guardian ad litem services. So they're asking to increase the rates to match Grace Harbor and Kitsap County rates. And then Thurston is $85 an hour, so they're asking to go from $50 to $75 an hour.
Yeah, I'm okay with going and matching Grace Harbor, I'm not, don't want to match kids up even though they're the same. I'm matching Grace Harbor.
Or Thurston.
Definitely not Thurston.
Yeah.
But I think that's important.
I think it's necessary.
Yep.
You're good with that? Okay. Okay, so that's all. So I'll put this together. I'll go back through, plug in what's tentatively approved, and then I'll have this ready for next week. So thank you very much.
And Jen's now going to go do a happy dance that we've gotten this far.
Yeah. Okay, that's all that I have, so I'll stop my share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You looking for
Got
something else?
anything else?
I do. I have one more thing that's not on the list, however, we could probably bring it up real quick. It has to do with the Phillips Lake Loop property. And we received an email from the Phillips Lake buyer. They didn't deposit any money into escrow, and they're now asking for a price reduction.
What I'd like to do is we're given several different bids on that. I'd love to have your head nod to say go ahead and accept the second if they're willing to still make the bid they did. It was $1,500 difference between the two.
One was 75, one was 6, right?
Yep.
Yeah. See?
So with your permission, if they're still interested, we'll sell it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay, that's all I'll do.
Okay, that's the only other thing I need to bring.
I forgot, I do have one other thing that's not on the agenda that I wanted to bring up, if that's okay with everybody. And it's just a cleanup item on the budget, Fund 114. The prosecutor's office has asked if they can move that as a department into the general fund. And I drafted that email and sent it out to the prosecutor's office and the audit committee. And Tim responded that their office is great with it. So if that's okay, I would move Fund 114 out of the special fund area and into the general fund.
Well, if you don't mind, let's take it to the audit committee, let them all talk about it, but it actually just sounds like what we talked about earlier. Is it a special fund?
It can be, doesn't have to be.
But is it, when we're gone?
Yeah.
Who will know?
So the problem with this one is that it's a reimbursable grant and there's only $300 there.
Okay, so it's a reimbursable grant.
Mhm.
That does make a difference.
Yes, it's not money up front that they need to, they do need to track it separately, but it's,
So is there an ending fund balance at the end of the year?
there can be if money's coming in and, I don't know how it was originally set up, if it was a transfer from the general fund to get it going or how that happened, but
been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been around
In
for
the
a
end, I'd be
while.
supportive if the prosecuting attorneys want to ask for it, but I'd still like to see it go before the audit committee first. That's their
Okay.
job, that's what we do, and then, because they may see things that we don't or I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it was sent out for comment.
but
I think I've mentioned
we
it
haven't-
to the audit committee.
But we haven't met though, so let's meet
Okay,
and talk about it.
okay.
I have one
Do you
thing.
need that done before the budget?
It would be nice to put it into the 2026 budget. I mean, I guess we could do an amendment to next year's budget, you know, to.
Let's do that, I'd rather not rush
Okay.
into making a decision,
Whenever,
especially.
yeah, whenever
especially
possible,
the
let's
audit.
take our time, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have them.
Okay.
So I had one thing, I'm sorry, because I want to go get lunch too, but Tim Sheldon, like him, I battled with him for years, but I have great respect for him. Anyway, he's one of the longest serving commissioners that we've had. He's one of the few 3-time-in-a-row commissioners. There's a road, a bridge, Finch Creek, that he was very instrumental in getting, and in talking to him, I bumped into him. That creek is really important to him, that bridge. And I don't know the process, but I'd love to have a conversation shortly about, having that bridge named after him. And it's one of those things that's a little thing in life, but if somebody gives us service, we need to be thankful when we can. So I just saying it's so that you would consider it, not that you have to do an action on it today, but if you have objection to it, I'd like to know, because then I'll just kind of shut up and.
I don't have an objection, but didn't we name the Public Works building after him?
We did, and it's funny because he was not ever supportive of the Public Works building, but I don't know why we chose to do that for him.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that wasn't a big thing, he was, but I had nothing to do with it. But I do know that creek and that community there was impacted greatly by the fixing of it. The one that should be named after him is that one that goes by the Purdy Creek. That used to flood so bad through there, but that's a state, that's not us. But I just know that was really important to him, and I'd love to be able to say thank you for.
Probably petition our reps about the state bridge.
Yeah. So I figured.
Shoot for that one first.
Yeah.
Over the one we can do?
Yeah.
I guess we
Why
can do
not?
it.
I mean, we're
Well,
gonna have
well,
I
Public
mean,
Works
it's more
building.
appropriate.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'd like to, that's the one I'd love to see, because that's what he should.
What's
That
that?
changed that whole valley down there.
Travis, can you have Deb get a hold of our legislators and ask them if they can put that forward?
For the bridge.
Purdy
Yeah,
Creek.
For the Purdy Creek.
Was it Purdy Creek? I thought you said Finch Creek.
We're gonna skip the county one for the moment and go right for the big dog at the state.
What a big dog.
Well, again, if anybody remembers that creek back in the years when that would flood, man, that whole valley, just stop at that creek, it changed everything. It still sucks, but it's so much better than it used to be. That's all I had. Madam Chair?
On the list.
Move we adjourn?
Well, we're adjourned until 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Second. Yes,
Are we ready?
ma'am.
All right, we are back. I know everybody's excited.
Yep.
And now for the rest of the story. All right, here we go.
All right.
Dave, take her away.
I'll get right into this. All right. So, as you know, we've been applying for and getting funding in from the Opioid Settlement Fund, and I'll go over what's in that fund right now. This is something that started 5 years ago, and then we split off from the regional group. We decided we would do it separately here in Mason County, so we're under a different operating system than they are. We still have the same reporting requirements, but since we've done no disbursement of funds, we haven't had to do any reporting. So that's easy, that's off the table. What I'm looking forward today is to get some feedback from the commission on how you want to spend the funds. So the goal today is how do we want to break up into small pieces, large pieces? And I'll give you a direction on how much we have in the account. Just see, and then who does the review? Do we do RFPs? And if we do RFPs, who does the review and RFP? So, and then what I thought I would do, once I get that feedback, then I will go back and write a resolution that'll codify it and keep everything on the up and up that way.
So when you say do an RFP, you mean from the departments who are requesting this?
From whoever. It's not necessarily departments. So anybody in the community has access to these funds. So this is they're designed to alleviate the problems that came from the opioid crisis. So you can have prevention, education, remediation, treatment. So basically four avenues. And they're pretty broad, and I include that in your packet, what the rules on using it, and that they're really pretty broad. We can use them in any number of ways. You can provide medication, Noxalone, there's any number of things we can do. So we've got some people who have expressed an interest, but we haven't had a procedure for how do we want to do it. So that's kind of the purpose of this. I'll get your feedback, put in a resolution, come back, and then we'll codify it.
Sounds good.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, so here's what we've got as far as what we have received on the last part of your packet. So some of my funds so far had come to $1,452,281. So 1.4 million. Let's call it 1.5 because there's another piece that's coming in.
Where's that start coming in?
That piece is from a settlement that I put in for in August. So it's a secondary settlement. So these funds here are from the first set of primary settlement dollars. So I think the pharmacies,
I can't remember which one it was. It's not
right.
Pfizer, it was a different.
Yeah. So
That's somebody's actually in our hands now though, right?
right, 1.45. Okay. And then going forward, so going forward into 2026, 3, we're gonna be running 68,000, and depending on the year, 68,000 next year. The year after that, we'll be getting 111, 115, 115 next 2 years, and then drops back down to 96 and stays at 96. And that's just the initial one that carries out for the 14 years. So it'd be 90. Just if we just did a 96,000, call it that ongoing funds. That's probably an accurate mark.
But right now we have 1.3.
Right. Right now we got 1.4.
1.45.
So I don't see any more funds coming in. I think the settlements are out. I think settlements are done. The secondary ones were like the Rite Aids, the smaller ones. So I think those are one-time payments for the most part, where the 96,000 is a continuing payment that's gone on since inception. The first year or two, we had an agreement with the city to roll their funds in with ours. It was like 17,500 that would come into us. We haven't renewed that because really a lot of these funds get expended are going to be expended in the city anyway. So it just wasn't that much of a thing to go after the 17,000. So we didn't do that. The timeline, we're going to go out for another, the whole thing was from 2024, it goes to 2038. So once 2038 comes, that's all gone. And this is different than, I think some of you might recall the tobacco settlement. They're doing it differently than that in that the tobacco settlement, they got the same kind of dollars coming in, but Department of Health took out a loan against those funds for the future and spent them all in the first part of the 2000s, and we're still paying off the loan. They spent them all in advance. So that's what we're trying to not do. And Melissa can speak to the public health data. we've got, I believe, excuse me, I'm gonna back up. You've got the document that shows what they can be used for. In our community health assessment, community health improvement plan, we talk about opioid work. We're already doing some of that work through Christina's programs and through North Mason Fire on, we have a small contract with them for $35,000, I think, a year. Is that what it is, Melissa, $35,000?
For
North Mason on our truck?
About.
Yeah.
On the
So
On the what?
it's on our mobile unit.
Okay.
So that gives us a nurse on our mobile unit that gives us a license to work under.
This is the van you just
This is
bought.
the van, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't on the motorhomes, now in the van. Other places we're looking on the funding is I have been funding the the coroner's office on the Randox machine. We bought that machine. We've been paying for the upkeep and the licensing and that kind of stuff. But my funding for that is going away as of January 1st.
How much is that?
So we figure 20 to 30,000 a year.
Can these funds be used for that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's that
Perfect
much for
fit.
you?
Yeah.
How much for you?
Let's say 25. And that covers the kits, it covers the licensing, it covers the software updates. Every couple of years they do software updates to look at the new illegal pharmaceuticals that are out there. So we've had requests from the sheriff's office for, I think that was $150 a year, and from the.
So that's not just.
That's where the 150
Yeah,
came
Yeah.
from, yeah.
that's what it was. It was, I thought it was a request for 150. That's
It
what
was
I was
$150 a
remembering.
year.
The jail or?
Dare.
Dare. Yeah, med dare.
And it's a deputy that could be used pieces and
Yeah.
still be a deputy.
26.5?
That sounds right.
What was that?
126.5?
Yeah, with a total of 150, because they rolled some other things in there. Now, they did get a vehicle, so that one's off the table, but the fully loaded deputy was 126, and they had other expenses. The other group that's looked to, or had a request, has been the North Mason Fire for $250 a year. So if you take those two together,
250,000.
yeah, it empties the fund in 3 years. And would take us down to that 96,000 per year average coming in.
But so far North Mason Fire already gets 35K, right?
That's on a contract from us under a different contract.
But that contract goes away. Is what
That
you're saying?
contract stays.
That contract stays.
Yeah, that
The
contract
Coroners
stays.
goes away.
The coroners goes away, yeah.
Okay.
Hey Dave,
Yeah.
has there been any discussion with the jail, especially considering DOJ obligations with MAT?
I think part of that is,
Preventive or thumb?
the most of that is covered through Christina's program and,
Moved.
Not doing
I was gonna give you the accurate number.
what's that?
not the medical services, so I think what Tim is referring to is the
question.
MAP, the MOUD, the Medicaid.
MOUD.
I don't know what the settlement
Yeah, it might be a good idea to talk with
Yeah.
risk and the jail,
Right.
because I know those costs are just increasing
Right.
every day.
So,
And
and
those
that's,
are mandates from the feds.
so, and that's that settlement for the jail.
Yeah.
And how much is that?
It's,
We don't know.
it's, I don't know how much it would be, it's just the Department of Justice came in
Yeah.
and did their audit and we just extended it another 6
Just
months.
recently, right?
What's that?
Just last week?
No,
It was
it's
this-
been a couple weeks now.
Yeah, it's been this fall.
About a month, yeah.
It's been that long?
Time goes by, yeah.
That's not gonna get any cheaper.
No.
No.
And this does cover MOUD aspects as well, so that's a covered
MOUD.
MOUD, yeah. MOUD.
What is?
Mat treatment.
Medications for overdose use, opioid use disorder.
Yeah,
MAT?
Matt, I knew Matt.
yeah,
Yeah, but I didn't know that one.
yeah. Medical assisted treatment and MOUD is like the larger version of that for all of your
In other words, more expensive version.
yeah. It The MAP program is, kind of drills down, MOUD is like an umbrella that it fits under. So, given the request we've had, my thought was we put this under, we do a resolution, and put this under a group that can review RFPs. So my function basically is I'm the administrator of the fund. And that's kind of where I want to keep that. I don't want to be in the decision-making of who gets the funds piece, because that's kind of, it's like a conflict, so we don't want to go down that road. Do we want to put it under Housing and Behavioral Health to review our RFPs? Do we want to put it under Board of Health? You know, there's a couple of directions we can go. The commission could do it themselves. That's allowed in here as well.
Sorry. Didn't know that came out loud.
So it's just, we just need to decide how much we want to do, how often do we want to do them, do we want to do big projects, little projects, and then who does RFPs and the reviews. So that's what I'm just looking for. If I get that kind of feedback from the commission, then I can write the resolution and bring it back.
In hearing what you're talking about, the numbers I'm coming up with, over a 3-year period with 100,000 coming in a year on top of the other, we're looking at, if you did all three, if you did the full request for the Regional Fire Authority, the full request, not the full request, 125 on the Sheriff's Department, and 75, that's 3 years, so 25, 25, that's 1.2, so that leaves us with 100,000 a year, that leaves us with 550K in 3 years. With 3 years.
Right.
If we were to do
those projects. And things we have to look at when we do those projects, we have to be able to measure, you know, so what's our starting point? What's the problem we're trying to fix? How much do we do to fix it? And it needs to be more than we just stick opioid in every once in a while in an RFP and when it's really used for something else. So you just have to be careful that it really matches what's in here.
Well, it would be nice to also get some sort of measure of success of these funds.
Yeah, how much are we swinging the needle? How do we measure that? Yeah, I think we need to get away from, in some cases, in the public health system, the measurement is how many programs we have in place. That's not a measure of what the actual output is. And that's what we want to get to, is what's our actual case for improvement.
So I myself, I like the idea, I like things that have already been presented to us, I'd like to see us move forward and go in those directions. I like the idea that things, money is going over to the coroner's office instead to offset another, so that's 75K. I think that, I definitely think it's important for us to do the deputy, with everything that's about to happen, everything going on, this will allow us to also add a deputy over to that side. This is just my opinion, and the North Basin Regional Fire Authority, I'm a firm believer in skin in the game and finding some of their own funding, and I love them, you know how much I love them. We were the ones that set off this whole process, came from Mason County first. Everybody forgets that, but it was through our ARPA funds, we got that first. With that being said, instead of $275 a year, I think it could be $175 a year, and they need to find some of their funding. That increases what we have over a 3-year period left to work with by another, what, no, that'd be $300,000 more, so we would have $850 still to work with if we did, over the next 3 years, if we did that. That's just my personal belief, and we structure the thing with North Basin Regional Fire Authority if they're interested. If not, I understand that too. They can, but they need to find ways to do their own funding. They need to find ways to. That's always been the
to be self-sufficient.
Yes, and that's why I also I was pushing for. I think they were asking for 5. We can't take everybody to raise them. We can help them, but if we raise them, then they'll feed off us forever. And that's why I thought 3 years, but 3 years at less. The sheriff's department is not a revenue generator, so they can't offset any of theirs. The same with the coroner.
No, but they sure stop crime.
There's another thing that came on my phone message, Ben Johnson, who, anybody here, we respect Ben a lot. He's got a program he'd like to bring forward and talk to us about here eventually that has to do with the school children and stuff too. And it works with all of them, at all different ages. But I can't speak on it because I just got a phone message, that's all I
Right.
had. But he said it's a lot cheaper than some of this other stuff, so I'm assuming that he's probably talking 50, 60K a year. But we gotta hear about it.
Right. And we've solved things in different ways in the past. So for example, we've used, say, the Lung Association to teach about tobacco. And we got a really good bang on the buck. And this was in Northeast Tri, so I'm talking about Stevens County. For $30,000, they taught every 8th grade class in the state, in the county. And then the 8th graders worked with the 6th graders. So for $30,000, we got a great bang on the buck for that. So it's how do you leverage other partnerships as well.
I can see leveraging other partnerships, but I'm not sure if the schools have the capacity to do that.
Right.
now.
So it does talk about the 4 things are prevention, treatment, recovery, and harm reduction. So we're already doing harm reduction through Christina's program. So I think we can really concentrate on prevention, treatment, and
Do
recovery.
you have money coming out of general fund for any of the programs that you're talking about?
No, that one is, so we got the syndemic, and the other one is the,
Overdose data action.
yeah,
And then there's a little
OD2A.
bit of FHS as well.
Right.
So our FPHS was cut 380.
392.
And
So
none-
we eliminated public health emergency response preparedness, so we're just using our little bit of federal funds to do that. We eliminated the hepatitis C program, and then we took money out of life course.
Mm.
So those are the 3 programs that we cut.
Which ones were environmental health? Some of those got cut.
Nope.
Environmental health?
We did not cut any out of environmental health, out of FPHS. Now, we didn't get all the contracts back from DOH. We just got the latest amendment has some money in it for environmental health. And that's really around shoreline work and some of those things, not concerned along these lines, but. And that's in the con in a different place.
Okay.
Not necessarily in FPHS. So in FPHS, we do have dollars from FPHS that are dedicated to a whole person in shoreline work.
That's right. The CONCON was 27 pages. How many pages is it now?
It's huge. Each amendment adds probably another 20. So,
Maybe I want to read that right now.
no, there's a lot to go through. I mean, but they're doing better. I'll give DOH kudos. They are getting better with condensing the contract language.
So Commissioner, what did you said funding the DARE.
Yep, I'd like to fund the DARE officer. I would like to not fund the whole amount for the Regional Fire Authority. I love their plan, I love where they're going, but I want to carry the weight, so I would think 175 for 3 years only, not 5 years, is the request. And the coroner's thing, because we have to supplant that money from somewhere, that'd be an additional 75,000. So right now,
75,000?
yeah, right now, I added it all up.
3 years.
Oh,
It-
for 3 years,
yeah.
gotcha.
It would be $965,000 total for those 3 programs over a 3-year period.
Gotcha.
So if we do 1.45, but it's more than 1.45 because it'd be 1.75 because 3 years, $100,000 per year coming in also. So 1.75 is the total that we're working backwards off of.
Plus any interest we roll on that account.
Yeah.
And do we want to look into Tim's idea on checking with the jail on those costs for the
Yes.
DVD stuff?
Well, and that's why I was thinking some of these, I have no
'Cause that
problem
is
with
gonna be
doing these monies early and letting them do the work now. If there's more settlement that comes in, more things that come in, that's great. But we have The other thing is, we keep waiting, we keep looking at it, we keep looking at 100 million times and finding out little nickels and dimes, but we have things that we know we need.
That's general fund money also.
Yeah.
That's paying for that stuff.
There you go, enough said for me. So,
I imagine.
yeah.
But it also says you can't supplant.
Cell sensors get off.
You can't supplant something you're already doing with the funding. So it has to add value, add program.
That's what we're doing with
But we
this
can find a way to
DOJ
make-
agreement, is adding value and adding new things.
Yeah.
And how loose is the prevention portion of this?
That's probably the loosest part.
Whatever that DOD.
Because, I mean, if we were to like increase, put together a drug enforcement team or enhance something in the
Sheriff's office where they focus specifically on drug dealers and getting them off
I'm
the
not sure
streets.
now it's all under here, but I mean, I can look it up now. We can get feedback on it.
Like,
Because I
have,
think-
like drug task force.
Yeah,
Now,
something like that.
And if we did all these, that'd give us 785,000 still to work with over the 3 years, but more as it comes on. I don't know the cost of what you're talking about, but.
And I don't either. Dave, I would get with Nicole
Okay.
and Shane.
Okay.
We gotta do it, we have no choice, so if we can.
Tammy.
I'll follow up with Shane.
Yeah, I already asked him to follow up with Shane, at least to tell us what the cost of that DOJ agreement is bringing to the county, so that we can.
And then if I can get that, then I can cross it through this
Correct.
to make sure that it aligns.
And if we did something with North Mason Regional Fire Authority, since it's 175 and not 275, it should be easy enough for them to document exactly what specifically.
Yeah, that's the thing with
And
theirs.
the reporting.
Theirs would be on that.
Yeah.
There should be a little different, because they're gonna have to track the opioid part separate from broken arms and, you know.
Well, this was gonna be
asthma
used for the
stuff.
mental health aspect of it, if I remember correctly, and they were gonna use it for the drug aspect of the mental health.
That's what I remember too.
Yeah, and that's why I think they can justify easier.
But they just have to track it.
If they can't track, they can't have the money.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure they're already tracking for their
Yeah,
other
that's
grants
true.
and things that they have.
Yeah, so I don't know if they pull it off that electronic health record or how they want to do it, just get us a roll.
And I still wanna make it clear, I don't expect them to do it, all the time, I expect them to find a way to bill for it. We're covering what's not being.
What about therapeutic courts? I'm thinking general fund monies.
Well, therapeutic courts are being paid off of the
Their
treatment sales
grants
tax.
there,
Yeah.
But if we can't supply it anyway, we gotta, I would
I'm
love to do
thinking
it.
of additional
No,
things.
Yeah.
believe me.
Plenty of additional things we could do with therapy.
Right.
I would love to
Yeah.
supplant.
And I think there's
Trying to think about what
a
we
number
do
of
with
community
basic-
organizations that
Yeah.
work with the homeless, work with,
That's
know,
what we need to do.
other folks we could, if they had a great plan and a can, they could come forward with it. The nice thing about this is not tied to budget years. It's separate, which makes it.
Well, but if we only set it for 3 at a time anyway, that helps us deal with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna have to track the deer officer for 3 years. So that's money in, money out.
They're gonna have to do that anyway for patrol, I think,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes, they
So-
are.
So I have a feeling, that's
I
just
think
one
they already
other.
do that,
For patrol.
They were, but.
For,
patrol for the diversion.
over the traffic diversion? Oh, well, I mean, it depends. When we were right up at the max limit, we were having them month by month keep track, or pay period by pay period, keep track of their traffic, anything that was traffic related that fit under those CRAP requirements, they had to track that time separate from their patrol time. When we backed way off of that and we were nowhere near close to that limit, then 2 times a year we did a test period. For 1 pay period, they would track all their traffic time to show that our percentages were much higher than the actual diversion percentage. And so
And that's satisfying.
that satisfied crab. I do think that if at some point in the future, if we switch back and move up closer to that limit, it would have to be a pay period by pay period. I don't think a percentage would cut it at that point. I mean, we could ask them because it's,
Well,
it's pretty onerous to.
But just so you know, one of the reasons why it was as extreme as it was is because it was so loose before that. And when the now sheriff stepped in and took that over, that he was trying, I'll just say, it, I was being an asshole about it, he was trying to be open to show me, to the point to where I didn't even need him to show me anymore, because remember, it was just so bad before, that did away with all that. So all distrust went away, and so it was more us he was making happy. not just crab. It was crab too, but
Well,
they
for
were a lot,
sure.
they were a lot happier with some of the other stuff.
Because we were walking the fine line. I mean, we did
Yes.
have to return money a couple times
Yes.
just due to that. So, I mean, regardless, when we get up to that limit, it will have to be tracked.
And state is being incredibly fussy right now. Casey and Melissa and I have been going through tons of question answering, not just our regular auditor, but now they've got commerce folks and DOH, and they're not even auditors, but calling up and demanding to see stuff from us back as far as 2021. It's been, and then asking for money back. And I think that's being driven by the state budget shortfall. They're trying to claw back what they can. So we have to make sure that we nail these things and then follow everything up with an email to DOH or whoever that we're talking to make sure that we get that all documented.
Just, you know, my hope is with the North Basin Regional Fire Authority, it's not just to get the money, it's hopes that it slows down the crazy process at the end of it coming back to us and our jails and stuff. That's where I'm thinking in my head.
Mhm.
So I do want to help all the people, but I also want to help our bottom line.
Well, yeah, if we can do some prevention work upstream and keep it out of the jail and spending 6 times as much money.
Yep, that's what I'm hoping.
So it sounds like dear officer. Yes.
Yep.
And coroner.
Yep.
And then, are you good with 175 to North Mason Fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for my resolution, we'll say that the commission makes these decisions?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that. That's easy peasy. I can probably get that done tomorrow. Well, no.
We don't have a meeting.
We don't have a meeting until the 25th.
We're not working until tomorrow. We're not working
I'm
tomorrow.
not working tomorrow.
I can brief you next week.
You are a veteran, go home.
Yeah. So, all right, I'll put this together. I think now I've got some steps before, and then that leaves us, like you said, is a bank of money that we still draw interest on and then use for
Yes.
other things that come up.
And let's see what happens and what's necessary. As our prosecuting attorney pointed out, we have some things we'll be looking at for ourselves internally that we might be able to do, as long as it's not supplanting.
Yeah, I've had a couple of groups approach me with some things that are still in the gestation kind of mode, and they don't want anything said just yet.
That makes me a little nervous.
No, there are some good ideas, but they haven't figured out how to.
And then you're also gonna meet with, Risk and Shane.
Right.
You're not Shane. But
And we'll come back to you with that.
And I'd love to hear what Ben actually has, the full proposal. I respect him immensely. If he's got some, he's usually good, dollar for dollar, he's good at getting us.
Yeah, so we'll get these initial ones off the runway, and then we'll have money for the jail, we'll have money for Ben, and then other things, and we can come back and brief that again. So I'll put a resolution, and then I'll have to do this in 2 pieces. A resolution to get the process down, and then a briefing and action to award the money. I think.
And then let Jen know that the dear officer is in the budget.
And I need to talk with Jen about, what I would like to do is to get this fund moved out of my budget into a separate fund, so it doesn't show up on my budget.
Yeah, talk to her about that.
Yeah. Because it
Special
shows us
fund
as having
line item.
an extra $1.5 million in the
I
bank
get
that's
it.
really not ours.
I get it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And it also allows us to track it easier, because we look at those sheets.
Yeah. So, okay. I think Melissa, do you have any questions, any concerns going around the table? Tim? It's just, for me and Tim, it's just reporting stuff. So.
Well, thanks for coming in though, Tim.
Yeah.
Actually, you brought stuff to the table today. You didn't
Yeah.
just come in to report stuff.
So, yeah, we took a different approach in Mason County than other counties did with a regional, I mean, they wanted to hire a full-time person to manage this. And
Use these funds for it.
Yeah, that's what I don't, that's what I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody for it.
They did that with ARPA too, so.
Yeah, yeah, so,
It's all good.
yeah, we just decided we weren't going down that road, so.
We're not as silly as other counties.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Do you need Shannon?
Okay, so if there's nothing else then, I don't.
Just need
I don't know
Shane to
if
get in touch with you.
I don't know that I need anything else.
That was easy.
Yeah.
So I think we have the signed responsibilities, timeline, we'll get it in really basically the next action agenda. So it'll be brief, and our next action agenda is what, the end of the month?
25th.
25th, okay. Okay. Then we'll need a follow-up meeting after that to get things off the runway and out, so. So I'll get with Jen to figure out how to do put that into Munis to get that done. So. Okay.
But just, so you know, we're not forcing her at this point, you're asking her if it's.
I know, I go ahead, I didn't work to her plate
I
just
just
at
want
this
to make that
moment,
clear,
yeah.
because.
She's watching right now.
For that, it would take an actual.
I heard screams.
Things being smashed against the wall, yeah.
Boxing or stuff.
Okay, well, I think we're good to go then.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
We're on
All
break.
right, so we are on break until 2:15, then we're back for
comp plan.
Were you at the meeting?
Are you guys ready? Are you ready, Chris?
Figuring it out here.
Okay. We are ready when you're ready, how about that? My mouse got cranked on the computer, so I left it in the room.
That'll teach it a lesson.
Right?
Put it in the corner.
At the end, we'll talk about dates, just as a reminder. Oh, boy.
Hi, my name is.
It works fine. And I'm doing. Okay, you know what? I'll just go with this. I'll just read it from here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marissa Watson. I'm the Long Range Planner for Mason County. This is going to be a high-level overview of the GMA required periodic update of Mason County Comprehensive Plan. There are a couple of chapters such as the capital facilities, financing and utilities, transportation, and health and human service elements that additional staff present today may want to chime in on at the end. And those chapters relate to the services they provide for the county. We utilize the services of the consulting group SCJ Alliance. They provided all draft documents with input from staff, PAC, state agencies, and the public. They were tasked with providing a comprehensive plan that meets the mandated requirements, and it's staff's current opinion that this draft does meet the requirements of the RCW and also includes additional input and language from our PAC and the public. We are also required to update our critical areas ordinance and development regulations as part of this update. Those items are in the works and the PAC, and the board will see those early next year. Today, I'm going to talk about the documents informing the plan, minimum requirements outlined by GMA, including legislation approved in the last few years that applies to our update, our new outline, and the main revisions to each element, as well as some key takeaways in land capacity, housing, and some detail regarding the formation of the new climate resilience element. So, oops, too far. So the following on the screen are the documents that you should have all received and that are posted on our website as well for the public. As communities evolve, so too must the vision that guides our growth and sustainability and well-being. The plan serves both as a blueprint and a commitment, charting our coordinated path for housing, transportation, environmental stewardship, and community health. This collection of documents brings together the critical components that inform decision-making and public investment through 2045. From assessing housing needs and improving mobility to addressing the realities of climate change and public health, each element contributes to a shared vision of a resilient, balanced, and vibrant Mason County. Utilizing research, collaboration, and public input, the comprehensive plan and its accompanying reports provide the framework to balance growth with preservation, opportunity with responsibility, and innovation with community values. Together, they represent the county's ongoing dedication to building a sustainable future for all who call Mason County home. So, the Mason County Comprehensive Plan has been developed to align with recent updates to the Washington State Growth Management Act, ensuring that local planning efforts continue to support statewide goals for sustainable development. This update incorporates the most current population projections to better anticipate future growth and community needs. It also addresses new requirements related to housing availability and affordability, environmental protection and resilience, and community participation in the planning process. In addition, the plan is structured to maintain consistency with the countywide planning policies, promoting coordinated planning across jurisdictions, and supporting a unified vision for Mason County's long-term development. A number of recent adopted state laws are directly guiding how we approach the comprehensive plan update. These include HB 1220, Housing for All. This expands planning requirements to ensure communities provide housing options that meet the needs of residents across all income levels. There's House Bill 1241, Smarter Planning Cycles. This updates our comprehensive plan timeline to 10 years instead of the 8-year. For some jurisdictions, a 5-year implementation report is required. We may not yet meet that. So it's based on population and your rate of growth. And then HB 1717, which is partnership with tribes. So language in our plan that strengthens collaboration with tribal governments through formal consultation during the planning process. SB 5818 and supporting legislation, which is cutting housing barriers, so streamlining zoning, SEBA review to reduce development barriers and support more flexible housing solutions. HB 1181, climate ready planning, which requires cities and counties to plan for climate change and resilience to the hazards. So then we have supporting analysis. Over the last year and a half, we had our consulting teams from SAGA Alliance and FCS Group have been working closely with us to better understand our current and future housing needs throughout our community. Their work began with a community profile, taking a deep look at who we are today and where we've come from. This included an overview of our community setting and history, an analysis of population and demographic trends, and a population growth forecast that helps us plan ahead. The population forecast chosen for the planning purposes of the comp plan, as well as any supporting system plans, is the medium growth forecast. So staff presented this chosen plan metric as well as the chosen housing scenario to the board earlier in the year through resolution. So this is the housing scenario. Next, they completed a revised housing needs assessment for 2025. This is where we begin to understand the scale and type of housing that will be required in the years ahead. The consultants evaluated our existing housing inventory and recent construction activity. They also aligned population projections with new state requirements under HB 1181, ensuring that we have a plan for housing needs across various income levels. From this work, they provided a preferred growth alternative, helping guide our focus moving forward. And highlighted is the planning, or the housing method that was chosen by the PAC and that we presented early in the year. The project also included a review of our current planning framework to ensure equity in housing. The consultants assessed housing policies for racially disparate housing outcomes as required under RCW 3670A 70 Section 2, helping us understand where improvements may be needed to ensure fairness and opportunity for all residents. To ensure that our plans are feasible, SCJ and FCS completed a land capacity analysis. Good news is all the urban growth areas are capable of supporting our 20-year population projections and accommodating the required housing, provided we make some strategic development regulation updates. And those would be in this multifamily, the 2+ units structure. So there may be some updates to some of the zoning language that we need to do. And we'll be looking at that in the next step. As a result, we are not recommending any UGA expansions at this time. And then finally, consultants reviewed our countywide planning policies to ensure that they continue to align with state requirements. So under RCW 3670A 70, every comprehensive plan must include several core elements, including land use, housing, capital facilities, utilities, transportation, and rural planning. The economic and parks and recreation still remain optional because they're not funded elements, but we still update them. We didn't update the parks and recreation this year. It wasn't in our scope of review, just so everybody knows. But we do include it because it's adopted by reference. So you'll see it included on the list in the plan. A new requirement adds the climate resilience plan component, now referred to as climate resilience chapter. This includes mandatory resilience sub-element for all jurisdictions planning under RCW 3670-40. So typically this sub-element must address reducing greenhouse gas emissions, improving resilience to climate impacts, and avoiding disproportionate harm to vulnerable and overburdened communities. But we're not required to do the greenhouse gas element at this moment. So our element does not have that section yet. To support this work, a climate policy advisory team, the CPAT, advised county staff and consultants. Their role included recommending key focus areas, participating in discussions on goals and policies, ensuring climate action addresses vulnerabilities in environmental justice, and reviewing feedback gathered from community engagement. Plan restructuring looks a little bit different than our last plan. You'll see the chapters there, 1 through 11. We refresh and reorganize the plan to make it clearer, more efficient, to better align with current county priorities. And so you'll see the list there. I won't name them off. The major changes was that the countywide planning policies, we took that out of, it used to be chapter 2, we took it out of the plan and made it its own individual standalone document. And so that the board adopted back in January of this year. And then the other major revision was capital facilities and utilities were combined. They were formerly chapter 6 and 7, so they're combined today, and this makes it a little bit more efficient and unified at how we approach and provide funding for essential services. And then implementation chapter, it used to be chapter 12, that's no longer in there. That's been removed because the content has been woven into the plan, throughout the plan. Tools like zoning, subdivision processes, capital facilities planning. So that's all addressed throughout the plan. That's basically what the implementation chapter talked about. And then the introduction also talks about guidance for coordination with other plans and plan amendment procedures. So then A little bit more detail into the substantive changes for each chapter. Chapter 1 is all about setting the foundation for a comprehensive plan. It explains why we plan, who we plan with, and how the plan will guide our future. It reminds us that planning isn't just optional, it's required by GMA. This law helps communities grow in a smart and responsible way and make sure we protect our natural areas, support housing, and keep up with things like roads and utilities. Next, the chapter explains how this plan connects to other important documents like the countywide planning policies, local development rules, and plans for things such as transportation and parks. All these must work together so that decisions in one area support the whole community. There's also a new organization table within Chapter 1, and it clearly shows how different parts of the plan, like housing and environment, and which goals they support. This makes it easier for everyone to understand, hopefully. Public involvement is a major focus as well in this chapter. It talks about how we work with the Planning Advisory Commission, partner with community organizations, and reach out to residents so that more voices are heard throughout the process. And then finally, it explains how the plan will be put into action, the policies we create, how they will shape zoning, subdivision rules, and building regulations. And in short, it explains the rules we follow. So Chapter 2, Community Profile, gives us a deeper understanding of who we are as a community today and how we will evolve into the future. We begin by looking at the county's physical setting, our geography, our natural features, and the broader regional context that shapes daily life here. This chapter paints a picture of what makes our community unique, both environmentally and culturally. When we take a closer look at current demographic, we then take a closer look at demographic and economic and housing trends in this chapter. Using the most reliable state and federal data sources, we explore who lives here, how our workforce and economy are changing, and what types of homes people need now and will need in the future. These insights set the foundation for more detailed population growth forecasts and housing needs analysis, which will be expanded in later chapters of the plan. It also introduces our formal community vision statement, a shared expression of what we want this community to become. It reflects the values, aspirations, and priorities we have identified through our public engagement process. Finally, it's important to note that the data in this chapter reflects industry standard sources commonly used in the planning practice. In short, Chapter 2 creates the factual and visionary foundation for the entire plan. Chapter 3, Land Use, looks ahead to how our county will grow and how we can plan responsibly for the future. We have new population projections by the year 2045. We expect 82,932 residents. This is slightly lower than our last plan from 2036, so better projections, hopefully better data at the state level. To that effect, we made several major updates, refined land area and zoning data. We improved the accuracy of our land area calculations and fine-tuned our land use categories and zoning classifications. This included a detailed review of what land is actually buildable both inside our urban growth areas and across our rural landscape. Better data inputs. Our analysis now incorporates 2022 population projections from OFM, our 2025 housing needs assessment, and updated GIS-based zoning overlays. Adjustments for land capacity. We've also updated our numbers to reflect Green Diamond's recent retirement of acreage, which removes some land from the county's available residential capacity. GMA and environmental justice integration. Another major enhancement in the chapter involves compliance with GMA, which now requires us to integrate environmental justice into land use planning. This means we're not just planning for growth, we're planning for fair and healthy growth. We're incorporating balance-focused planning strategies, actions to reduce environmental health disparities, policies that ensure benefits and burdens of growth are shared more fairly across the county. To clarify, Washington State defines environmental justice as the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people, regardless of race, color, national origin, or income, in the development and enforcement of environmental laws and policies, including equitable distribution of environmental benefits and reduction of harms to overburdened communities and vulnerable populations. And that's RCW 70A02.010. In simple terms, we want every resident, no matter who they are, where they live, to enjoy a clean, safe, and thriving environment. So Chapter 4, Housing, focuses on one of the most important challenges facing our communities today, housing. So ensuring that every resident has access to safe, stable, and affordable places to live. To ground this chapter in real conditions, it draws from the housing needs assessment. That means we're not planning based on assumptions, we're planning based on data. The chapter breaks down local housing needs by income level, the types of homes that are most in demand, and where those needs are distributed across the county. This includes compliance with HB 1220, ensuring we address housing needs across the entire income spectrum. We also incorporated the state's Housing for All planning tool, known as HAP. This was a requirement from Commerce. This tool gives us a strong baseline, and then we refine the results to make sure they reflect specific realities of our region, not just statewide trends. A major update to the chapter also is the rent gap analysis that helps us understand where renters are most struggling to find home prices priced within their means. Along with that, we take a deeper look at racially disparate housing outcomes, acknowledging that not all members of the community have experienced the housing market equally. And then from this analysis, we revise goals and policies to better address displacement risk and to support broader variety of housing types throughout the county. Another strong focus is preserving the affordable housing we already have. It's about preventing the loss of existing options, especially those serving lower income residents. Our policies now more clearly align with land capacity findings and reflecting ongoing coordination with regional housing partners, including the City of Shelton. Finally, the entire housing goals and policy section has been thoroughly refined for clarity and consistency. One major improvement is more clarity on the county's role, what we enable through zoning and infrastructure versus what we directly implement through programs and partnerships. We also removed vague language, replacing it with inclusive and actionable statements. These refinements also respond directly to PAC feedback, especially regarding equity housing, capacity tracking, and interjurisdictional collaboration. Economic development, Chapter 5, has been thoroughly updated to better reflect the community's current economic conditions and long-term vision for prosperity. These updates ensure our economic development policies are relevant, data-driven, and aligned with community priorities. First, the entire chapter now corresponds directly with the Economic Vitality Action Plan developed by the Economic Development Council. So this ensures that policy direction and on-the-ground implementation are coordinated rather than working in parallel. We've also updated the structure of the chapter to focus on 4 integrated economic objectives, and this corresponds to the Economic Vitality Action Plan. So retaining and growing local business, supporting the success of existing employers, attracting new businesses that fit our community's needs and character, cultivating startups and innovation, helping new entrepreneurs thrive here, strengthening the overall economic base, including infrastructure and workforce development. So to support these objectives, we incorporated the most recent data from 2023 and 2024. That was the most recent at the time, drafting. And those sources are OFM, American Community Survey, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So this updated information reflects current realities around employment trends, income levels, and education and commuting patterns. Another major improvement is the integration of public health and livability into economic planning. The chapter now addresses how economic stability intersects with issues like homelessness, behavioral health, and aging population and emergency response coordination. Strengthening the economy is not just about jobs, it's about creating a community where people can live healthy, stable lives. Key industry strategies remain in place, but with updated emphasis on systems needed to support growth. such as broadband expansion, workforce training, clean water, climate resilient infrastructure. We also refine permitting and land use policies to improve predictability and efficiency for businesses and builders. At the same time, we have to uphold the zoning standards and rural character that the community values. So then we have chapter 6, the transportation chapter. This diagram, and I know we may have staff here or online that may want to speak to this later because they're more of an expert in transportation than I am. But basically, this was the diagram provided by the consultant of how they went through the process of drafting the recommendations. So basically, shows the approach that staff and SCJ Alliance used to develop the transportation element. On the left side there with a variety of project sources, traffic forecast, previous studies, safety needs, active transportation gaps, and community input. These provided a broad universe of potential projects. Then you move on into the multimodal plan development process where all identified projects are placed into an unprioritized list. The projects are evaluated against key community-driven priorities, and then we produce cost estimates to understand the level of investment required, analyze what funding will likely be available over the next 20 years. So by combining all those factors, needs, priorities, and costs, we create a long-range prioritized list of projects for all travel modes. This project is supported throughout by agency coordination and ongoing community engagement. Finally, on the right, the outcome is a recommended plan. This includes a prioritized project list, as well as supporting goals, policies, and action strategies needed to implement over the next 2 decades. So then we have rural and natural environment. Key highlights: new integrated focus. Previously it was the rural element, so it's rural natural environment element now. It brings together land use planning, natural resource conservation, and rural economic development, balancing growth and preservation, better alignment with state law, updates fully to reflect rural density standards and LAMR designations, update land use information. So acreage numbers for rural, residential, and commercial have been refreshed. And like I mentioned before, it now reflects the forest legacy lands highlighted for protection, long-term protection. Stronger natural resource protections, providing clearer guidance on safeguarding water resources, wildlife habitat, and working lands. Broader definition of open space expands beyond parks to recognize traditional cultural landscapes, wildlife corridors, and community recreation areas. Tribal partnerships and treaty rights, new emphasis on the critical role of tribal nations and land stewardship. Rural community design tools, and those are the rural activity centers, hamlets, cottage industries, master plan resorts, and how they function within the LAMR framework. And then just cleanup and modernization, so outdated tables and data, refreshing there. And then this map here is something that our GIS department put together for us really quick, and it would, it's an update of the comprehensive plan map, our future land use map, as we call it. And then you'll see the forest legacy is this green right there. All this green is the forest legacy. So.
When you're saying forest legacy, you mean the stuff where they sold the building rights? Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then just to mention, Chapter 8 is the PROS plan. It just adopted by reference, not updated this cycle. So. Chapter 9, capital facilities and financing and utilities. Brings together 2 major planning components into one streamlined, easy to navigate section. By consolidating these topics, we make it simpler to understand how Mason County plans, funds, and maintains key facilities and essential services that keep our communities functioning. This chapter clearly outlines all requirements set by the GMA, ensuring we meet state standards while also reflecting local needs. We've created an inventory of the facilities and services that support daily life in the county, such as roads, public safety buildings, water, sewer systems, parks, and more. And because Mason County isn't the only provider of these services, we also identify our important partners, such as state agencies, school districts, water and sewer districts, tribes, and private utilities. We also expand on the purpose and value of the capital facilities plan, how it guides long-range planning, supports growth and development, and ensures we invest in the right projects at the right time with the right funding. So all of the technical data, so future population projections, service demand, financing approach have been updated. The chapter links to the county's capital improvement program, the 6-year priority investment plan that is reviewed annually and updated. We also make a clear distinction between services directly provided by the county and those operated by external providers, while of course our primary focus is county-led services. The chapter also highlights decentralized systems such as on-site septic and small-scale wastewater treatment facilities, which are especially important in the rural area. And then finally, policies throughout the chapter have been updated based on feedback from our Planning Advisory Commission and the public. And then connected to that chapter is the Capital Improvement Program 2026-2031. The PAC reviewed it earlier this year and provided a recommendation that the BOCC approve the document as it was amended during their July 21st meeting. All information provided to staff in order to draft that CIP is done between April and June. Thus, obviously, budgets and funding can sometimes change as we get further out into the year. The information provided is the best planning effort made by the departments at the time of my request. The plan itself reflects, over the next 6 years, that we're planning on $35.9 million in capital projects. Funding sources totaling $23.8 million come from such sources as the road fund, secured grants, utility rates, federal and tribal contributions, and pending grant and loan opportunities. And then an additional $32.5 million is forecasted from the REIT 1, 2, and 0.09 sales tax. So resulting in a projected surplus of $20.4 million if all funding sources are applied to planned projects. If pending sources such as grants and loans are not secured, that surplus adjusts to $7.4 million. Additional details such as project descriptions, justifications, progress on current projects, individual funding, and funding spent to date can be found in that draft. So it would take a long time to go over all of this. So. And then we come to our new chapter, Chapter 10, Climate Resilience. This chapter focuses on how we can proactively plan for the future shaped by climate change. Rather than simply reacting to climate-related hazards, this chapter outlines a long-term strategy to build resiliency into our communities, our infrastructure, and our natural systems. To do this, the chapter is divided into 2 key components: climate resilience, understanding climate risk and strengthening our ability to withstand them. And then at a later time, if it's required, then we would have a greenhouse gas reduction element. To ensure our planning is grounded in real-world science and community experience, we pulled information, or our consultant pulled information from several major sources, the state and national resources. We relied on the expertise from state and federal agencies to forecast future climate conditions and guide best practices. One of those was the Climate Mapping for Resilient Washington, the CMRW web tool. That interactive tool provides projections for climate hazards such as sea level rise, increased wildfire risk, and extreme heat. It helps us pinpoint where vulnerability is highest today and where it will grow in the future. We integrated existing local knowledge, especially the 2023 Hazard Mitigation Plan, to align with our climate resilience strategies with ongoing risk reduction experts. Community voices were also essential. We actively gathered input from residents, local leaders, and subject matter experts to ensure our priorities reflect the unique needs and values of our region. And then Commerce Guidance, Washington State Department of Commerce provided clear expectations and requirements to ensure our planning meets state requirements. And a little bit more detailed of what's required for this element. Department of Commerce gave us a clear mission for our climate policy advisory team, our CPAT. I talked about them a little bit earlier before. Commerce's guidance about the CPAT and their role was they were to guide the formation of goals and policies that will make the biggest difference for our community, engage in meaningful discussion during our sessions to ensure we are addressing real climate impacts and community vulnerabilities, and then reviewing any feedback from residents, local organizations, partner agencies, and the county staff, and make sure those are reflected in the final plan. And then minimum goal of the plan. So Commerce sets out that we must develop at least one climate resilience goal and policy in each of those 11 priority sectors. Those sectors are identified by the state, listed on the screen in front of you. For each sector, the CPAT was asked, what are Mason County's most important assets? And then which climate exacerbated hazards put those assets at risk? Some of the hazards that after those discussions we are now planning for and they're listed in the draft are drought, extreme heat, heavy rainfall and flooding, reduced snowpack, sea level rise, and wildfire. Another part of the process was pairing those assets with the hazards, so identifying what's exposed and what could happen if we don't act, and then determining what the priority hazards were, so where the greatest risk lies. And then the consultant then used that information to conduct assessments. So two types of assessments, vulnerability and risk. So vulnerability is how sensitive are our assets and how well can they adapt to those hazards. And then risk assessment, how likely are future impacts and how severe they could be. So the final product is a set of climate resilience goals and policies built on the Commerce menu of measures and local insight, so the CPAT input, stakeholder interviews, advisory committee, and public feedback. With documentation for that process is outlined in that workbook that is Appendix E in the draft. So, then we have Chapter 11, adopted by reference. It's an optional element still, but our public health staff did update this year. And again, staff can speak to that more at the end if they want, but a quick overview of it. So first, the chapter starts off with the big picture question of what does it mean to be a healthy community? It's not just about hospitals or doctor visits, it's about creating places where people can live safely, access nutritious food, breathe clean air, feel connected, supported every day. Talks about health, three key outcomes. So health outcomes. This section looks at the measures that reflect community wellness, things like life expectancy, chronic disease rates, access to care, and mental health. These outcomes help us see where we are succeeding and gaps still exist. Then planning for health. Good health doesn't happen by accident, it requires thoughtful planning. This element explores how community design, housing, transportation, parks, and services all shape our physical and mental well-being. And then lastly, health goals and policies outline strategies and actionable steps to improve community health moving forward. Our public engagement process, we created a roadmap for engagement through a public participation plan, and that was drafted in the beginning by our consultant. We had transparent updates via the project webpage and notification list updates, so those were emailed out every time we had a meeting or when documents were available. One-on-one conversations with our key stakeholders, so we had stakeholder interviews at the beginning of this comp plan process. We had a community vision survey that was promoted through news release, public postings, social media. And we had an Allen Community Forum and survey, and that was supported by a special mailing and North Bay Review outreach. And then partnerships with community-based organizations to reach diverse voices, and that was Commerce gave out grants to a couple of community-based organizations to do outreach to youth and vulnerable populations. So, and that was and Mason County Climate Justice Group and the Economic Development Council. Yep. So they both had their own surveys that provided information, and that information is on our website in our comment section. Then we had more than 25 meetings with the Planning Advisory Commission, and those were either work sessions, informational meetings, or public hearing. And then early collaboration and feedback with Commerce. We've had a lot of early collaboration with Commerce on the housing and making sure that meets their requirements, as well as WashDOT, I know, has emailed in with Public Works and myself and the consultant to make sure they're doing like a pre-review on that and making sure we're good there. So in summary, though our comprehensive plan doesn't usually draw large crowds, and in the past it hasn't, I think this effort has reflected some voices that haven't typically been involved. So, and then to sum it up, in closing, staff, I would say, formally submits the draft comprehensive plan and supporting documents to the Board of County Commissioners for review. We invite the board to reflect on the thoughtful recommendations of our PAC, along with valuable input from the public and state agencies, all of which are captured in that comment matrix. And in the draft you were provided, we also had a draft that has comments where suggested changes post-PAC meeting are outlined in there. So with that, I will end.
And then I'll just say that Marissa had put in our 60-day notice to Commerce, and that ends on December 1st.
Correct.
And so we, by December 1st, we'll have any comments from Department of Commerce if they're seeing anything that they think they want us to make any recommended changes.
By December 1st.
Yeah.
Did Commerce and Ecology sit in the room with you?
We had Commerce front the housing and Commerce folks from Climate.
Yes.
So Climate staff and housing staff from Department of Commerce attended a couple of different meetings. But they didn't attend like the way Ecology does with our Shoreline Master Program. And it's slightly different. When we update our Shoreline Master Program, Department of Ecology ultimately adopts it or like approves our plan, whereas Commerce, it's less formal than that. They'll give us comments and all that, but they don't ultimately have control over what they'll make recommendations knowing on, you know, other jurisdictions or places where people have gotten appealed and kind of giving us a heads up, but they don't have ultimate say in the end like Ecology does.
When we worked with Ecology, we negotiated back and forth is what happened in order to get to a great outcome on it, but because they had authorities and we needed to have them on board, but I'm surprised they still didn't show up for some of this more.
They are much more interested in the critical areas ordinance.
Yeah.
So I've had one-on-one conversations with them, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see comments from them post comp plan update.
Who can challenge the plan?
The tribes.
Yeah, I mean,
Them
any.
for sure.
Yep.
But who else? Can
Well,
citizens, can people
yep,
that worked on the plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyone with standing, which is pretty broad.
That's why I was asking what
Yeah,
standing.
and we did get a comment letter from FutureWise, which is a statewide group.
Oh, I know who they are.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
they've been around a long time, since the beginning of growth management days, and they're I think they just had comments related to the housing chapter,
Or
or,
the land capacity analysis.
Share those
Yeah.
with us if you don't mind, just.
yeah, yep, those
I
are,
definitely wanna read
yep,
that.
that's available, and our consultants did address, their comments, and that's, you're going to see that reflected in the draft housing element. And then we've also, there's some recent case study, at the Growth Management Hearings Board with City of Mercer Island and Kitsap County regarding comments that FutureWise had regarding their housing. So we're trying to address that up front. And I did note earlier, because this does get confused in people's minds, but when the state says that we're required to provide housing or whatnot, it's actually, we're required to accommodate different types of housing, and so that's within our zoning. So we cannot have zoning that only allows single-family residential. We have to have zoning that allows for a multiple variety of housing from, mobile homes, tiny houses, duplexes, triplexes, multifamily apartment complexes, et cetera. And that doesn't mean everywhere, it just means we have to have enough zoning within our UGAs for higher density, lower density in the rural areas. And so we think that when we did the math on our 3 urban growth areas, that we can accommodate all the different housing types. I think we are gonna do some zoning updates, mostly looking at the Shelton urban growth area. Because Belfair and Allen, we have zoning that allows for up to multifamily apartment complexes, but in Shelton, not necessarily unless they go through that planned unit development. And so we want to just have it, we're going to work with the city on, what to do in our, because most of our Shelton urban growth area residential is neighborhood residential. It's like 4 units per acre, or in up to 12 units per acre. So we'll be working with that, but otherwise we think we can accommodate what's required.
Why did, I'm not saying I disagree with you, because I've been, for those that don't know, I was on the planning commission for years, so I've been through all this. Why did you choose lower populations? Like I said, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but because it's
On the
been proven to
medium
be,
growth
yeah,
rate?
it's been proven to be wrong over and over and over again, but why did you choose, what was your basis for choosing the lower population levels as you stated?
Well, we chose the medium growth rate, so there's a low, medium, and
Yeah.
high. And we chose the medium growth as it just, it follows the growth trend that we saw. And I believe we have had chosen the medium growth
we had
rate in the
so-
past.
So, because she said that, though, she said that we had chosen, that's why I was asking that question.
Yeah.
So we basically took the same
Yeah,
tack that we had taken in the past, we went with the medium.
yeah.
Same thing as we did with our waters and everything else, we're doing all that. Environmental health justice, and your guys' breakdown of that, break that down to me, what that came out to be.
What it came out to be.
Yeah, how did we establish the, why did we establish the environmental health justice thing as it was designed up here? Is there a reason that we structured it a certain way, or was it required by law in that certain way?
Well, environmental justice is required by law. And it's mostly reflected in the, I would think, the goals and policies of each of the chapters. So you're basically looking for it, like if we're gonna develop in one area, that we have to make sure any,
So when you call it justice, because that was the part that was having the hardest.
Yeah, it's,
You
for
do-
Mason County, it's pretty unique because, I'll give the example of the city of Spokane, because I lived there for 10 years, and they did have some environmental justice, a really good case law environmental justice issue. So for years, they talked about a north-south freeway, which I believe now a portion of it's been built. And it goes directly through a really low-income neighborhood, and so you're displacing low-income neighborhood, and where do they go from there? There's not much further way down, and so it's just being equitable in that way. We didn't have
Well, I
a
get it.
lot of
You're
examples
calling-
from
you're
Mason
calling
County.
justice that you're a no net loss, but instead of just of environmental, you're trying to do no net loss of housing and no net loss of.
Yeah, and because we're a rural
using the other place,
county,
it
there
makes sense.
isn't, it's just less examples.
Our development regulations are uniform pretty much
Yeah.
across the county, so.
Right.
You know, they have to, according to state law, we have to review for it and check our policies to make sure we don't have anything that's potentially creating that situation. But, you know, like, we don't have the same situation as like a major suburban area, so.
We just called it different, well, we still tried to have it back in the day, because if we took away low-income housing, we had to try and find it somewhere else, or at least allow for it. But you're referring to it as justice, that just caught me off guard, because I hadn't heard that.
Different wording.
Yeah, but that does make sense, because we've always done that, and that was expected by the state. That wasn't just us and our policies. They expect that we will have a certain
Yes.
percentage of RR5, a certain percentage of,
They still do.
yeah, okay. One last question, I'll have comments at the end before, but the other question I had is, can you explain to me how we recognize treaty rights and stewardship? What was it you were basing that on? Off of some legal battles that happened versus our stuff we did with the WIRAs versus what did you
What
use to establish?
specifically?
You referred to it, there's one of your points up there to recognize treaty rights and stewardship as one of your goals. What did you base that on?
I think we're just talking about stewardship of the land and
Was it part of the tribal requirement for
Yeah.
consultation,
Yeah.
early consultation with, just in recognizing the tribes from this area?
Because the consultation, I'm curious about that too, but recognize what they say it is or recognize what the law says it is? Because there's a big difference. Recognize the treaty rights versus what we've done in the past with WIRAs. Or like I said, apparently it's just a term we threw in there, which is not as deep as what I was
yeah.
thinking. Okay, that's fine. I just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
we don't,
if that's what we're
get it-
doing, I want to know
yeah.
what we based it on.
No, you're
if we're
not.
if we're establishing the zoning and stuff based off of that.
Good question.
Those are the questions I have for the main part of this.
I don't have any questions.
I just saw a couple of different things as well. So the Mason County Housing Needs Assessment, these guys also worked with the city of Shelton, right?
Yep.
I saw their presentation and I was like, wait a minute, that looks so familiar. And so, yeah, but one thing I do think that needs to be corrected is in the acknowledgements, it has Kevin Schutte as a commissioner.
Is that, what year is this one? Oh, it is January of '25, so because they updated, you know,
She
they
got
did a
you.
housing needs
Admit it.
assessment
It was
from
early.
2022, and then they updated that.
Oh,
This has been going on since 2024.
Yeah, we'll still wanna make sure that, because it's 25, we'll probably wanna put Commissioner Tarswell's name in there for that one.
Yeah.
Well, you're the one that's gonna get blamed, so just.
Right? Either way, you're gonna get blamed. I guess any of the, because I know I've talked to Dave about the public health portion of it, and, but Richard, do you wanna add anything to the utilities or part of it? I know
The only
that,
thing I think we didn't get to, Marissa, I'm not sure if we got it to you or not, was our, well, these. Inventory and all that. Did you get those?
I didn't see it in here.
No, well, they're done, they'll get to you for all of them. So that's about it.
Getting its draft.
We had a little bit of a communication issue last week with Loretta being gone. Yeah, who's on first, who's on second?
Oh, Loretta.
Just blame Loretta.
No blame him. I just didn't get it to you.
Dave, did you want to say anything about your section?
No, it's cut down from the previous versions. We took out some of the data pieces that within the year they're out of date. So we kept working on larger concepts than because we individually each year put that back out to the Board of Health, so we think it needed to be in the comprehensive plan.
That works. Loretta, did you want to add anything?
Just that, I think for the utilities and capital sections, every year we can, or every update, we continue to make improvements. And I know that there was a interdepartmental team that, 4 years ago, Marissa and Kell began working on how to connect capital facilities, our 6-year plans, our long-range plans, and make those connections that I think Jeff Carey and other PAC members had noted and wanted to see continued improvement on. So I'm happy about that. I'm with them. I think we all are, that there's still room for improvement, and we'll continue to strive for that improvement.
Well, this goes to 2036, so things change.
For sure, and it's always timing. You know, we're in the midst of general plan updates for both our water systems and our solid waste facilities and our sewer systems. And ideally, those things are happening on a sequence that's just ahead of a major comp plan update, so that it is fresh and feeds into the comp plan. But that simply didn't happen here.
Okay, and then also in the very front, I talked to you about this one. There is the, let me find it. The acknowledgements. And so we have one land acknowledgement from the Squaxin, but we don't have anything from Skoke. And I would hate to leave one out.
And one in.
And one.
Absolutely.
So if we don't get anything from the Skokomish tribe, I would recommend that we not have.
Or we'll try to call them first out.
Yeah.
If I,
yeah. You've
So
been
after
trying.
I did try 3 different times, and then after you and I chatted last week, I reached out again. So if anyone has a contact there and wants to, that would be great, because they did express interest.
I
and
sit with
then
one for the
just-
Environmental and Hood Canal Quarry Council all the time.
Yeah.
Dave.
Okay. That'd be great. Yeah, I would just, it's just not a good look or a good feel. And so.
Not a smart move.
Yeah.
Then I just have comments on it then. First, thank you for all your hard work, watching how we paid a lot of money to some people to come in and do a lot of work that you had to carry on your backs instead. And it did not go unnoticed. Very much appreciate all that extra work you had to do. Also, I want to point out, I didn't ask about it at this point because I figure this isn't the right venue, but I still want to make sure if we can that we incorporate the questions or the issues that they had, some of them had with, that were on the pack. One thing I want to point out is there were 3 that disagreed, and that's quite a bit. And when you think about it, we had, as you said, quite a few people that attended. We want to make sure if we can't give them always what they want, but we can try to incorporate as much as we can so that they can't challenge it. Because that's one of the things that I also worry about, is that it is challengeable. I know that. And I'd rather it not be. We're going to be having a meeting, I think the 25th, with the Squaxin tribes, and we'll try to iron out a lot of that. But the individual also has standing, and that's what we're hoping to overcome. So I don't know if you wrote down those questions, but I will get them to you, the ones that we had from that day, just to see if we can get some of them. Just
Do you have the questions from the
Jeff Carey's
joint PAC and board meeting? Mariah has them.
So we'll just go through and just kind of take some off. There was another comment that was made to me today on a message while I was out there. I take it Jeff had a doctor thing that happened. He was going to be here, so he left me a message. And on the message, he had pointed out there's a couple of tables that have been added since and we definitely should have that brought out to us when we're meeting to know what's been approved and what's different. If there's stuff that are different than what was agreed upon, you need to highlight it for us just so we know. It isn't that it's wrong. It's just, we just gotta know what they are.
And I did see some notes on the side, referencing that, so I did
Yeah.
notice that.
4.2, I think, was one of them, and, but again, I was just basing it off a phone message. And with that being said, again, I do wanna point out, you guys had to carry a lot. I attended the one in Allen, that was such a shame. You were really hung out there to drive by the people, we paid a lot of money to come there and do it all, and you had to carry everything on your shoulders in that meeting. I felt really bad for the county, and it wasn't your fault at all. You were a champion in there, and you did us proud with what you had to work with. But I don't wanna go through that again with our staff shouldn't have been in that position. No.
We should never put our
No.
staff in that position.
Yeah. So thank you for all that. I look forward to being able to integrate some of these things and get rid of some of those problems that they did have and move forward to get it done so we can get this behind us after that
Okay,
dangerous period where they have the ability to challenge.
all right.
So the 25th may not work because we also have a Board of Health meeting.
So what
that
I
day.
was thinking, because if, so today, putting in briefings for the 17th to set the action agenda just the action agenda to set the public hearing on the 25th.
Okay.
And then have, I talked to Cammie this morning, it sounds like Jen's got a budget meeting on the December 16th. And so if the action agenda's set on the 25th, we can journal on the 4th and 11th and get a public hearing on the 16th after the budget meeting.
So on the 25th, you're asking to set the public, just to set the public.
Just to set the public
For-
hearing.
okay, so
Yep,
that
so
gi-
we'll brief.
Because there would be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll give us time to meet with the stakeholders that wanna meet with us and
And then at the 16th, then you could, if you need to extend it or just you have enough information at that time to make a decision or what have you, but that's when we thought.
They want it completed by the state wants it completed by the 31st.
31st, yep.
Yeah. Looks okay to me.
And just, I don't care if they want it, because that doesn't work that way.
I know,
but-
I mean,
yeah.
we already
It'd be
know
nice,
we're
but they don't have to.
following up with development regulations, which include Title 17 zoning code, but also Title 8.52, the critical areas ordinance, which we call a resource ordinance.
There's a couple ways that they can do a comp plan. Some is for the staff to put together straw dog and get it approved by approved for recommendation. Others are, they do a lot of the work. I just had read hundreds and hundreds of pages of hard work that went from that group where they actually did a lot. And I want to recognize that. I can disagree with people individually and still recognize that they worked their rear end off. The stuff I read was like, holy, as somebody has been there and done that, yeah, there was stacks and stacks. It's not always good, but it's not always bad either. It means that these people that aren't there right now and did hard work, and I want to recognize that. So that's why I'd like to find a way to integrate as much as I can. They deserve that. But thank you again for everything.
I also want to recognize the PAC team, the committee.
Yep.
25 meetings.
A lot of reading.
And a lot of reading. I mean, and I didn't even read all of it. So I tried to read a lot of it, but my eyes are tired. I feel for you guys and the PAC committee. I think that you guys deserve a hand.
Very much so.
No, those guys.
Right? Right. Yeah. Why don't you take Christmas Eve and Christmas off?
Thanks.
New Year's too, it's all right. We
New
don't have
Year's,
to mind.
okay. Sounds good.
They expect you here Thanksgiving though.
Do you have everything you need as far as the dates now for briefing, action agenda,
Please keep
hearing?
me in the loop on how we're addressing the issues that occurred, just to check them off the pages if we can. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, anything from the last round? No. Okay,
Can I make a quick comment?
quick. Yes, you can. State your name.
I've heard that before. Randy Lewis, I have to be on the PAC. I just wanted to say, yeah, I appreciate these guys guiding us, answering all our questions and all that. One thing I feel strongly about,
there's been some shade put on our product. Which personally, I don't mind criticism, I do it myself, even brutal criticism. But it's very easy to put a negative label on something. No, if you have objections, tell me specifically what your objections are. Which I think Jeff did a good job in the last meeting showing, but if you're just gonna say, this is a bad product, whatever you guys are, no, don't do that. And that was my comment.
That's a good comment. All right.
Madam Chair, I move we go ahead and adjourn for the day.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank
you,
you
guys.
all. Yes, thank you guys so much.